Condition orange. Situation Delta in effect. Please enter your agent number now, followed by the hash key.
You have to create culture. Don't watch TV. Don't read magazines. Don't even listen to NPR.
Time comes when silence is betrayal.
More for themselves and less for everybody else. But I'll tell you what they don't want. They don't want a population of citizens capable of critical thinking. They don't want well-informed, well-educated people capable of critical thinking. They're not interested in that. That doesn't help them. Think for yourself. Question authority.
This code has been compromised.
All right, welcome back, Truth Seeker. It is Wednesday, July 5th, 2023. The United States of America is officially 247 years old. And what I really want to talk about tonight is a topic we've talked about many a times before, and that is censorship. And recently, Rambo, longtime guest of this program, hopefully one day he'll return, the news broke to me yesterday. I'm not sure if it happened yesterday on July 4th or, in the days prior. But it came to my attention yesterday that Rambo's channel, The Truth Codes, was deleted by Google. And again, think about deleting Rambo's channel. I mean, Rambo's always very classy, doesn't really cuss. He delivers his information in a way that's not really offensive to anybody, and despite all that, still deleted. So what's he guilty of? Again, sharing the knowledge of Gematria. And of course, I've lost 20-some channels. I'm not as classy as, if you will, as Rambo in the way I deliver my message often. But many times people have speculated that I get deleted because of the way I talk, which I know isn't true, because so often when the videos get censored, they're the videos that would have passed on Mr. Rogers' show. It's like if your video is totally polished and doesn't have anything that would really upset anyone, those are the most likely videos to get censored. So I always hate when people reach out with their ignorant opinions about why this community is getting censored. It's getting censored only because it is sharing information that threatens the authorities, who are the cabal who rule over us and think we're their property. And anyhow, if you guys have a way to reach out to Rambo, I'm not sure where else he posts in the social media world. I mean, he used to post on my website, but he hasn't been on there for a few months since he stopped doing the show. And he might be realizing that was a mistake now to only put his work on Google. That's why I gave him, had to build him the extra part of my website with his own login and access that only he has access to. And had he been putting his work up there for the last few months, it would still be there, but now it's all been flushed down the Google toilet. So again, that's also a reminder in the age of censorship. Don't only post your information on Google, Facebook, Twitter, TikTok, any of these platforms, because they all delete and censor. And again, it doesn't really seem like there's any recourse to these companies. I just drove all the way down to the YouTube headquarters in California, couldn't even get inside the building, was greeted by security. And the lead security guy, to his credit, he was very friendly, came out with a pen and a paper. He said he'd take all my questions and concerns and pass them on to the people who could answer them, and they'd be back to me within 2 weeks. Well, I mean, he did sit there and wrote everything down and listened for a long time, but I never got any call back, which is not a surprise. And like I said, I think it might be different, though. If instead it was just little old me who showed up at YouTube, if instead it was thousands of people, like the thousands of people who've lost their YouTube channels for sharing their own ideas, thoughts, research. If all of us showed up at once, I feel that could be a monumental day that might change what's going on. I mean, somehow we have to force the issue of big tech censorship. It really is the problem of our times. I'd say it's the biggest problem going on in the world right now. I mean, there's a lot of other terrible problems going on in the world right now, but again, the internet is the place where people go for information. If certain information cannot be on the internet, I mean, that could be the difference between living and not. And I think you guys know where I'm going with what's been going on the last 3 years. Some people got the message and learned a few things from people like yours truly, whereas other people didn't get those messages, maybe because they weren't looking for them as hard, because they had no chance of showing up in their algorithm, etc., etc. So, anyhow, somehow, some way, we need to make something like that happen. You know, if you missed what I did in California in April, I went from big tech headquarter to big tech headquarter to big tech headquarter. And at first it was just me at YouTube. Then another gentleman showed up. And then it was me and him who went over to Facebook, and Cuts One met up with us. And there were 3 of us there. And then we went over to the Google campus, and there were 3 of us there. And you know, everywhere we went, we had a little bit of an impact, especially at the Google campus where they were all outside having lunch. And I let them know what I think about, you know, how all those people there go along with this company that is undermining what America's about and totally undermining the First Amendment. And, you know, looking at some of their faces, I think some of them really got what I was saying and understood why I was there in outrage. But then there was literally some turds out there eating lunch who were like, yeah, we are doing that. And they were like cheering it on. And it just like, That's why there needs to be a mob right here. So this guy who's cheering on, undermining the First Amendment, it can be his last day on this earth. And it really should have been his last day on this earth. And for people who don't get that, again, you just don't get anything, I would say. The people in this world that are applauding the undermining of the First and Second Amendment, they don't need to be breathing. These people are what's wrong with the earth, you know? Again, I'll always remind people, you can believe in your bullshit religion with all these fake teachings that don't really mean anything and don't resonate with the world, or you can actually just think about the way Creator made us. Again, there's a reason Creator made us killable, if you will. It's not that hard to kill a human being, and there's a reason for that. We're not made out of titanium and steel like some action figure in a Hollywood movie. You know, there's things that can pierce our skin. We can easily be trampled. Our skulls can be crushed. And these things are gruesome, but at the same time, there's some people who really have it coming, and it really needs to happen to them because the tyranny that they're waging on this world is ruining it for everyone, especially every little child growing up in this world. And sadly, the children growing up in this world, they're going to grow up to be like those other goons at the Google campus because that's all they've learned their whole life, is that it's good to go against the First Amendment. It's good to just worship authority and Pfizer and CNN and, you know, these puppet politicians, and it's bad to question in any of these things. That's what everyone's learning right now that's growing up in this age, this ultra-Orwellian age. And again, censorship. You know, some of these little youngsters, they might be getting an alternative message on the web if it wasn't for all the censorship. So anyhow, if you know anybody whose channel's been deleted, you know, encourage that person to make another channel. It could be a YouTube channel, it could be a blog, it could be a Twitter profile, a Facebook profile. Encourage that person not to quit. You know, RPM Trey, shout out to RPM Trey, does a great job pounding pavement, gets out there, has a hugging AR owner, totally undermines what the tyrants are trying to do. And, he got deleted and censored once upon a time, and he got discouraged, and he stopped doing what he was doing. But then he found his inspiration again, and now he's back out there, and he's at it day after day. And the world needs that. And, you know, this truth community, 10 years ago when I first started, before I was even on there was more people doing truth content on YouTube before I was even on the platform. And a lot of those people, what happened is they kept getting their channel deleted 1, 2, 3 times, and they were done, you know. And that was the mistake. They should have just kept coming back. So anyway, anybody out there who used to do content and gave up because you got sick of the censorship, I'm urging you to come back. I'm urging you to keep on posting. They want us to quit. They want us to give up. And it's just not going to happen, because then we lose, and we should refuse to lose. So, and also, you guys, for everyone who's expecting me to be down in California for Kobe Bryant Day, again, I really do want to be there, and the plan is to be there. And I'll let you know definitively by the end of this month if I'm going to be there or not. Again, support is at 50% of what it was in April of 2022, and that's when I went out to Oklahoma City. Ever since that trip, support's just fallen off every single month. Down, 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 down. And it's frustrating because I've spent a lot of money traveling, helped out other people with travels, and it's expensive. And if the support's just going to fall off for doing the work that needs to be done, I'm going to have to reevaluate. If I end up not doing the trip, I'm just going to really hunker down, finish the third book, get it out there, say it's good enough. It's been good enough probably for the last 2 years that I haven't finished it. And again, someday I'll get back to pounding pavement, but right now, every time I go out there, just support goes down. It goes down. And it doesn't really seem like that many people care about me going out there either, because not enough people come out to these events. That's the other thing. We haven't even been able to get 100 people at an event, not in LA, not in New York, not in Oklahoma City, not in Chicago, not in Minneapolis, not in any of these towns. And we should easily be able to get 100 people. There should be way more than 100 people in these major cities. So anyway, but again, I'm not saying it'll be the end of pounding pavement. That's what I really think is the most important thing to do. It'll just be put on the back burner for a while, and might have to postpone it for another year. I have a feeling next year in 24, Kobe Bryant Day is going to be something else. I have a feeling they'll probably be unveiling the Kobe Bryant statue at the arena as well, because if you go down to the Lakers building, there's no memorial for Kobe, which is really weird. They have one for Elgin Baylor, who died after Kobe. So, one for Elgin Baylor, but not one for Kobe. So I have a feeling they're waiting until the year 24 for Kobe. But, anyway. Gonna have to get the support back up to do the consistent pavement pounding. And right now I just kind of feel like that Einstein quote, the definition of insanity is what? Like repeating the same thing over and over and expecting a different result. And right now the only result is when I go out and pound pavement is support goes down. So I feel like if I go out and do it again, that's probably what will happen again. And so anyhow, we can still get out the word from right here. I don't feel like it's as effective as being out on the street. But the other thing about being out on the street is the content you put up online, it only lasts for so long before they tear down the whole channel, just like they did with GematriaEffectNews 24 a few weeks back, which was the channel that had our road trip across the country on it. So, all right, that said, we got about 10 minutes till the commercial break, and my opening monologue for tonight, it's right there. It's short and sweet. Let's go out to the callers. If you want to phone in tonight, it's 213-233-3998. Again, 213-233-3998. What's up, New York?
Hey, what's up, Zach? You can hear me?
Loud and clear.
All right, I got a couple of points. 2 points from last week. You remember the picture from the Yankees threw the perfect game, right? You know his uncle died on that Monday. You noticed that, right?
Wait, after he threw the perfect game, his uncle just died this Monday?
No, last Monday, before he pitched the perfect game, his uncle died on that Monday.
Oh, I did not know. So Domingo German's uncle died 2 days before the perfect game. Again, you guys, to remind you about the perfect game last week, we saw it in real time at the end of TFR. The date was June 28th, 6/28. Perfect numbers in mathematics are 6, 28, then it goes up to 496, then it goes up to this big number in the thousands, and then it gets even way bigger. There's not a lot of perfect numbers, but 6 and 28 are the first two perfect numbers, and the first perfect game of the season was on 6/28, and it was the first perfect game for the Yankees in 11 years, and they won 11-0. And again, it was Domingo German pitching 37 days from his birthday on a Wednesday when perfect Wednesday, Yankees, all equal 37. And not only that, but if you look at his pitch count, he had 99 pitches in the game, and perfect game equals 99. And I did not know about his uncle dying 2 days prior. But again, just another example of rig sports, ritual sacrifice. Since we reconvened last week, we had another Baltimore tragedy, Baltimore mass shooting over the weekend. We had a brand new police chief sworn in on June 8th in Baltimore, who was the spokesperson for the shooting. He was sworn in on June 8th, which is Brooklyn Queens Day in New York City. And then the shooting was on Brooklyn Day in Baltimore, because there's a neighborhood in Baltimore called Brooklyn. So isn't that funny? Brooklyn. And then it was the police chief's 25th day of being the new police commissioner. And Ravens equals 25, so does Giants, reminding that the Ravens and Giants played in the Super Bowl in the past, so we have this New York connection through Brooklyn Day. And then also, again, the 104th NFL season upcoming, and Brooklyn equals 104, the same pattern we keep seeing in the deaths of these former players. So I'm going to have to look more into Domingo German's uncle. I really appreciate that heads up, though. You always got the great eyes for the great headlines.
And the crazy part, he got his 31st win on there for his 31st birthday. Ain't he 31 now? Or he's going to be 31?
Well, 31's the 11th prime number. That perfect game was synced up with his 31st birthday, the 11th prime, as they won 11-0.
And then he got his 31st win, too.
Yeah, what a joke.
Okay, the next thing for last week, Martin Luther King, his last living sibling, died at 95. How many times have you talked about 95 and then Martin Luther?
Did you not see my video? Wait, did you not see my video on that?
I've seen your video. I saw your video on that. It's just crazy.
Well, here I want
his last living to die at 95.
Yeah, it is. I want people to understand how perfect this ritual was, because not only did she die at 95, like Martin Luther wrote the 95 Thesis, like Martin Luther King Jr. was killed on the 95th day of the year. Again, look at this. Martin Luther, the Protestant Reformation leader, his name is often written Martin Luther, OSA. OSA is part of the Augustinian order he was a member of. But Martin Luther, OSA in Gematria equals 194, and she died 194 days after the Pope's birthday. If you use numerology, Martin Luther, OSA equals 68, like the year that MLK was killed in, 68. And then in the prime cipher, which is just A is the first prime number, B is the second prime number, C is the third prime number. So for example, the first letter in Martin Luther is M. M is the 13th letter, 41 is the 13th prime, so M is worth 41 in the prime cipher. Anyway, Martin Luther OSA equals 629. That's the day she died, 629, June 29th. And again, black equals 29, and on that day you had the two black Supreme Court justices feuding. You had the Supreme Court overturn affirmative action, which will mostly impact black Americans, and you supposedly had an assassination attempt on Barack Obama, all on the same day. And again, Barack Obama equals 68, number 44, like MLK killed on 4-4. And it reminds me that in the time of the O.J. Simpson trial, there was also a trial for the MLK family where the jury or the judge ruled that there was a conspiracy by the U.S. federal government to kill MLK. So, yeah, anyway.
But what's so crazy about MLK, people don't realize how his brother drowned, like, what, a year after he got assassinated or something like that in the pool, and his mother got assassinated in the church. People don't talk about those two stories.
Right.
That, right?
Right. The mother was killed in 74 by a man whose name equals 74, and now the sister just died the day before that anniversary, 74 days from her own birthday, and we know 74 is the killing number, so.
All right, so let me get to the points for this week. Ain't it crazy that they find cocaine at the White House? All these Hunter Biden stories with crack and cocaine and drug use. It's crazy. They're just pushing it. Did
you see he was driving 172 miles per hour? It's like, come on, man. Come on.
What's 172?
The Jesuit motto, Ad Merum de Gloriam. Ad Merum de Gloriam.
So cocaine found at the White House. Unbelievable. Come on.
I always love when people who are asleep who think they're awake.
Biden go for the crack bill, the crime bill.
Yeah.
His son is the biggest crackhead of them all.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I know a lot of people leave comments like, "Oh, this story in the news is just distraction from what's going on with Hunter Biden." It's like, come on, you asleep person at the wheel. Everything about Hunter Biden is a distraction. So, anyway.
All right, but my next story. You remember we were talking about the lab-grown meat. Now they got the story about the lab-grown babies. They doing in Japan by the year 2028. You see that bullshit? I mean, that BS story? Yes. Look it up. Lab-grown baby in Japan by year 2028. Just after they came out with the story with the lab-grown meat.
I see it. All right. Yeah, I missed this one.
And what's so crazy about that? Jamie Foxx, by they clone Tyrone was supposed to come out last month. They pushed it to July 14th. Now they pushed it to July 21st for it to premiere on Netflix. But they clone Tyrone, and you get this story about the lab-grown babies by 2028. So they're trying to tell you something.
Indeed. Yeah. Huh.
Okay. And my last one is about Vegas. They got some MSG spirit in Vegas, and I think it's a tribute to the Route 61 shooting. And plus the Super Bowl is in Vegas, so I think you need to check into that story. And they say it's supposed to open in 3 months. The MSG Spirit in Vegas is supposed to open in 3 months. And I think that's like I want to say it's a ritual for the Route 61 shooting thing in Vegas and the Super Bowl coming up. So check into that story.
Okay, the MSG Sphere.
In Vegas.
All right. It looks
So
like
I think it's some kind of ritual. I don't know.
Is it a sports stadium?
Go ahead.
Sports stadium?
It's supposed to be like an arena. It's supposed to be like a concert venue or something. And U2 supposed to open it. U2.
Oh, God.
U2 gonna open it. So 3 months from now, probably be up like in October, right?
Okay.
They're gonna open in 3 months. It'll be in July, so 3 months will be like in October. And the Route 61 festival was in October, right?
The whole thing is going to have a screen on the outside? That's crazy. Okay. Huh. Yeah, I'll look into this too.
So I don't know. I might be wrong about the Route 61, but I just think it's interesting that it's opening in 3 months during the football season and during the anniversary of that Route 61. So you think so? And U2 is opening it too?
Yeah, I'll look into all of it. There's got to be a reason they're choosing U2.
Yeah, that's exact. Those are my quick points I had.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh yeah. One more thing about the censorship. You remember when it really got bad for the censorship after the Grenfell fires and that Andre Grande concert shit in London? That's when it got bad for the censorship. That Grenfell fire and the Andre Grande. That's when it got bad for the censorship.
Oh my God, the Ariana Grande thing too was just so obvious.
Oh they had the cops changing in the streets and shit. You remember that?
Yeah.
You used to have the video out there of the cops changing and stuff.
Well, that was the London Bridge terrorist attack. That was another incident.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I know, but it was all of those around the same time, you know.
Yeah, indeed.
And they did not let that Grenfell fire on because after they deleted one of your videos because of the Grenfell fire, didn't they?
They deleted more than one. They took down like every video I had on that, and then because I had 2 channels going at the time, and they ended up deleting both channels.
And I bet you nobody remember the Grenfell fires.
Yeah.
The ritual in that Grenfell fire. Nobody remember all that and the terrorist attack in the Ariana Grande because nobody took it all off the internet. So they knew how people short-term memory. They forget all that stuff.
Yeah, you're right. They bombard us with so much, it's hard to keep it all straight.
The police changing right on the street. Come on, what is this?
Yeah.
Okay, that's it about the censorship, right? I had to make that point about the censorship. And plus, the one more thing about the censorship, they said the White House cannot contact social media companies. Come on, what kind of bullshit is this? Y'all control the social media companies. Talking about the White House cannot have contact with the social media companies to censor stuff.
Indeed. Yeah. People in the chat, people in the chat love your calls every week, and so do I. And for you guys who missed it, you could have seen him last year. He was out on the streets with us in New York City. So, anyhow, we'll do it again.
All right, Zach. That's all my points right there.
All right. Appreciate it, friend.
Okay.
All right. Have a good night. Okay. Okay, great call as always. And we got a commercial break, and then after the break, we'll be taking everybody's call on the line. See some regulars. Shout out to Austin. Austin's on hold. Austin's pounded pavement with me in Seattle. Here on his mind after the break. But, yeah, quick break, and then we'll be right back. You know how it is on TFR. It's supposed to be going on right now, but I don't hear anything. If it's one of these nights where we don't hear anything, I'll just go through it. I'm just going to give it a second here because it's supposed to be playing the commercials right now. Sometimes it starts late. Oh, there it is. Okay, it's on some kind of delay.
Sound is a fucking drummer. Hey, give me what you give me. In the river.
Don't mistake movement for achievement. Boy, it's easy to get faked out by being busy. The key is not just being busy, the key is doing what? So, we look at results to see if there may be some difficulty with activity, because it takes activity to bring enterprise into being. There's a whole study here on activity. Activity is like birth pains. It ain't easy, but see, it wasn't meant to be easy. Values were meant to be costly. The only way we can appreciate a value is by its cost. If it doesn't cost much, we probably wouldn't call it valuable. True winning is a great worth, but the price is to play with all your heart and mind, and perhaps do some losing sometimes so that when you do win, boy, the worth and the value of the winning now becomes a high appreciation, simply because now we understand both sides of this equation, price and
From
profit.
the dawn of man, we have turned to nature to help attain balance within ourselves. But somewhere, we lost our way. Western culture is once again remembering the healing benefits of CBD, the non-psychoactive component of the hemp plant. That's why more and more people who use CBD report relief from inflammation and chronic pain, balanced blood sugar and cardiovascular system, relief from muscle tensions, tremors, migraines, headaches, anxiety, depression, and the list goes on. The big question is, where do you get it? iLife is a 99% pure CBD oil made with all organic ingredients, and it's available to TFR listeners worldwide. If you use coupon code TFR at checkout, you'll get $5 towards your order. Head on over to ialife.com now. That's AYA life.com.
For 5,000 years, the world was ruled with wooden ships by one man. 242 years ago, a small group of free men crafted a new nation built on liberty and freedom. Global elites have been fighting to destroy this new nation called America ever since. Based on actual events, Charm of Favor tells a true story of how they corrupted the election system. They infiltrated federal agencies and murdered witnesses, judges, and even presidents to keep from being caught. Now, the largest and wealthiest crime syndicate the world has ever known has been drawn out of the shadows. They have killed hundreds of Americans and recently attempted to assassinate half our congressmen. Still, they escape arrest through an almost supernatural charm of favor. Read Charm of Favor and be prepared to open your eyes to what may lie just around the corner. Charm of Favor is available on Amazon and Barnes & Noble.
We are TFR.
My hated destiny is all I need to prevail.
Truth Frequency Radio.
Don't have to be beautiful. Don't make just what baby. So don't really just me. Just me. Show you.
All right, we're back, True Seeker. We're taking your calls the rest of the way. If you want to phone in, it's 213-233-3998. And let's see. First up is George, who never picks up his phone when I call him. George, what's up?
Hello, Zach. Boy, we seem to be having some communication problems. So tell you what, I'm not sure what's wrong with my phone. So could you either text me or email me to set something up?
I'll text you. Yeah, text is easy.
Okay. A couple of things. I was busy doing other things, so I don't know if you've had a chance to talk about the death of Coco Lee, the actress and singer.
I saw that was a headline. I haven't decoded it, but I can do it in real time. So, popular singer.
A couple of things.
Coco Lee dies.
Okay, so I couldn't find anything suspicious about her background in terms of her religious affiliation or education. She got her undergrad degree from University of California at Irvine. So she's 48 years old. Now, the thing that stood out about me, or rather about her, was Bruce Lee and his son, Brandon. Now, I realize Lee is a fairly common Chinese surname. Well, she had done a few films. Arguably the most famous one she did was Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon. Also, Bruce Lee didn't make that many films, but arguably his most famous one was Enter the Dragon in 1973. Now, you could say, well, that's a stretch. Now, apparently, Bruce Lee was, 32, 33 when he died. His son, Brandon, was 28, and she, Coco, was 48. Allegedly, it was suicide.
Yeah, what stands out is that this happened on Sunday, 7/2. Again, Jesuit Order 72. It's a Sunday. Sun moves 1 degree on the astrological wheel every 72 years. Excuse me. Yeah, so that's the first thing that jumps out. So they're saying she died from an attempted suicide that put her in a coma that caused her to pass away 3 days later today, July 5th. Date written 7/5, kind of like her birth year, 75. Where Jesuit Order is 72, Catholic Church is 75. Today is Pope Francis's 201st day of his age, and it seems that every year there's a big death in the world of entertainment that has a nice 201 ritual with the Pope. So this very well could be it, and I'll have to look more into her because I'm not real familiar with who Coco Lee is.
Or was, rather. So, Bubba, the other day you did a video about a shooting over the weekend that took place in Baltimore, Maryland.
Hold on. You can come to the. I just want to let people know that in Gematria, Coco equals 72, the way she spells it, C-O-C-O. So, I highly doubt she tried to commit suicide on 7/2. I highly suspect she's the latest sacrifice by the very sick Jesuit cabal. Okay, go ahead.
Okay, so anyhow, so you're talking about Baltimore over the weekend because apparently there was a shooting. You actually talked about this at the beginning of the show, and the new police chief or commissioner, whatever they call him, had been in his position for less than a month. Yeah, and it reminded you. I'm sorry.
Yes, it reminded me of Robert Luna getting sworn in before the Lunar New Year Festival shooting.
Okay, so anyhow, So you talked about all the things that Baltimore, Maryland, and Brooklyn, New York have in common. Well, for what it's worth, the baseball team, the Baltimore Orioles, won their first World Series in 1966 against the LA Dodgers, who were originally the Brooklyn Dodgers.
And I'm glad you knew that, because that shooting was on the 95th day of the MLB season, and Baltimore equals 95. And as a reminder, the Super Bowl will be on the 95th birthday of the Vatican. So, interesting.
Okay, so now this is a stretch, but Brooklyn is one of the 5 sections of New York City. Babe Ruth was born in Baltimore, Maryland. Now, he did play several years for the Boston Red Sox, but he made a name for himself with the New York Yankees. Now, it's interesting, if you look at the baseball team, the Baltimore Orioles, they're probably, okay, people would debate this, but they're probably one of the most famous underachievers of all time. The Yankees are probably the most notorious overachievers. Now, as I said, the Orioles won their first World Series in 1966 against the LA Dodgers, who were originally the Brooklyn Dodgers. But then they had a spat of 3 consecutive World Series appearances, 1969, 70, and 71. They lost in 1969 to the New York Mets, which was considered a huge upset, which is somewhat not to be confused with the Baltimore Colts losing to the New York Jets, which is also a big upset. The following year, they beat the Cincinnati Reds, but they lost. That was in 1970. In 1971, they lost to the Pittsburgh Pirates. There again, the Orioles were heavily favored in 1971 because they had 4 20-game winners. That is, 4 pitchers who won at least 20 games, which is only the second time that has ever happened. Now, have you ever looked into the 1971 Baltimore Orioles?
I have not.
Okay, so probably the only name you might recognize was Jim Palmer, who was a 20-game winner. He's still alive. Now, he has the perfect background. He has a Jewish mother and a Catholic father. And, of course, he is a decent pitcher. Now, as I said, Jim Palmer later went on to make it to the Hall of Fame because during the 1970s, he won at least 20 games 8 times. Now, however, so that means there are 3 other pitchers who reached the 20-game plateau, 20-game win plateau. Pat Dobson, Dave McNally, and Miguel Cuellar. Now, Jim Palmer not only is the only one who made it in the Hall of Fame, he's the only one who's still alive. Dave McNally died in 2002 at the age of 60. I'm looking up, and so, boy, that struck me as odd because these things happen. And Miguel Cuellar, okay, I don't have the. Okay, can you pull the dates for these respective players? Pat Dobson.
Pat Dobson.
Yes. Not to be confused, there's a Canadian politician named Pat Dobson. Okay. Yes. So Pat Dobson. Oops. Oh, I misspelled the name.
I got him. He died in 2006 in San Diego on JFK death anniversary.
Okay, so how old was he?
He was born in 42 and died in 2006, so he must have been 64.
Yes, you're right. He died. Yes, he was 64. And then you have Miguel Cuellar. So that struck me as odd. So you had two of these 4 players, or 3 of these 4 players die relatively young. One was 60, the other one 64. The other one, Cuellar, was 73.
Okay.
So I guess they had to pay a price after the fact.
Okay. Yeah, that's how it works. So.
Okay, well, and you had a caller from New York who was talking about the perfect game that took place a week ago. I guess his name was Herman, or spelled German. Was it? I don't recall his first name.
Domingo German.
Yes. So Miguel Cuellar lived from the 8th of May, 1937. He died on May the 2nd, 1972. So he was 72 years old when he died. So as I said, that was a quartet of pitchers who won at least 20 games in 1971. And as I said, they were considered huge favorites to win the World Series that year. And people were saying, wait a second, did the Orioles throw the World Series? There were actually people saying that in the newspapers. So this is long before you were around. Now, you mentioned Domingo German, and you mentioned all the numbers that are lined up. But do you remember Dallas Braden's perfect game for the Oakland Athletics back in 2010?
I don't recall.
Okay, so at the time, it was the 19th perfect game. It was on May the 9th, Mother's Day, 2010, and he threw 109 pitches. And he didn't have a particularly good career. He had injury problems and things like that. But his mother died when he was young, and so he was raised by his grandmother. And his grandmother actually just died the previous year of breast cancer.
Okay.
So that reminded me somewhat of the whole German story.
It happens all the time, really. I remember the year the Royals played the Mets in the World Series. At the end of the first game, the announcer made a point that coincidentally, within the last 24 hours, the starting pitcher for the Royals and the closing pitcher for the Royals, both of their fathers had just died. I just thought, oh my God, how they just do this sports season after sports season and nobody notices. So.
Oh, well, wow. So, well, maybe the announcers aren't read in.
I think they definitely are.
Well, perhaps, or maybe, they could simply just be useful idiots.
No, a lot of times they're like laughing about the script, especially the Joe Bucks and Tony Romos of the world. So, I mean, they got to be morons. What, they sit there every season to watch this opening NFL season, be like opening day. All these people will have just died. Got guy who's worked for the NFL team for the last 38 years just dropped dead last night. R.I.P. to his family. I mean, what, you just sit there year after year and this happens year after year and you just think it's a coincidence every day? I mean, these people can't all be that moronic. If I worked for a company and every year, when our big annual celebration day came around and somebody dropped dead the night before every day, I think I'd be like, wait a minute, who's going to die next year on this day? Because that's the way it is. So it's like, how don't they can't be that dumb. So.
Well, okay, and this is more of a philosophical point, and this will be my last comment. In ancient Rome, one of the events that were popular were gladiators. So athletes fought to the death, generally speaking. Also, you had a similar situation, if the history is accurate, in the Mayan and Aztec Empire. You had teams that fought each other to the death. So, is modern sports any different from, say, ancient Rome or the ancient civilization, other ancient civilizations?
I always make that point. I feel like it's just like when I was growing up in school, they'd teach about how the Mayans would have their sports celebration, and at the end of the sports game, they'd make a human sacrifice for the king. It's like, well, it looks like that's exactly what's going on. You have these big sports events. There's always all these notable deaths, and it looks like that's exactly what it is. So.
Okay, so just addressing something I brought up. I said the Baltimore Orioles won the first World Series in 1966 against the LA Dodgers, who were the Brooklyn Dodgers. And there again, however, the situation was different. It was considered evenly matched because you had the young Jim Palmer, who hadn't become a superstar yet, and you had Dave McNally, who also later threw 20 games with Palmer in 1971. but they upset the highly favored LA Dodgers because they had Don Drysdale and Sandy Koufax, and the Dodgers had just won the World Series the previous year against the Minnesota Twins. So sometimes teams are allowed to. So you had to wonder, how long have these championships, World Series, Super Bowl, whatever, how long have they been rigged?
From the beginning. I mean, it's just like, even look at the 71 one. I mean, the Orioles won 101 games that year and faced the Pirates. Pirates equals 101. It's stuff goes on year after year, season after season. I mean, you just go back and take the knowledge and look at it from the beginning. You'll see that all the numbers line up from the beginning. First men's college basketball tournament in 1939. Guess who won? The team name that equaled 39, the Webfoots. Now they're called the Ducks. That's the Oregon Ducks. And, I mean, college and pro, these things have been rigged from the beginning. So,
well, it only takes us, some people, half a century to figure this stuff out.
yeah, maybe so. So,
well, I guess you have other callers, so I guess I'll talk to you soon, Zach. So, would you like to text me on Friday?
I'll send you a text. I'll just send you a text message, and we can just text back and forth until we get it figured out, and we'll do the show again with Johnny and the crew.
Okay. I'll talk to you soon, Zach.
All right. Have a good night, George.
You too.
All right. Did it sound like he had something else to say? It sounded like he had something else to say. Is that you? George, were you trying to say something else?
Oh, no. I'm good, thank you.
Okay. All right. Have a good night, George. All right. I just realized that, yeah, here's the headline about how Yankees Domingo German threw the perfect game 2 days after his uncle's death. I see the headline about it being the 24th perfect game in MLB history. And what's interesting about that is that, the country just turned 247 years old days later, right? 247, like 24/7, like the sun's going 24/7, 24 hours a day. Domingo means Sunday in Spanish. Sunday, the day of the week named after the sun. So that means there were 23 perfect games coming into the 23 season. To think more about that, though, there's probably more to that. Okay, next up, Michigan, you're on.
Hey, good evening, Zach. How are you?
I'm doing all right. How are you?
I'm doing well, except you saw what our tranny governor did here in where I used to live in Michigan. I hope I don't cause any mental anguish with the statement I'm about to the statement that I'm about to speak. So, we have to teach the children well. Men are from Mars, women are from Venus, and all other genders are from Uranus.
Yeah, good one. That's the update. That's the 2020s update. For you young people, that was a big book in the 90s. Men are from Mars, women are from Venus.
Right. So, yeah, I guess we got a lot of folks from Uranus out here in Michigan.
Yeah, all over the place.
What they're doing to the children.
All over the place.
That's sick.
Yeah.
Dr. Wallach, my mentor, 84, he's a comparative pathologist. He's done 48,000 autopsies, almost 50,000 autopsies, 10,000 on people, the rest on animals. And he's found lesions on the brain in, men and women and animals, that the part of the brain that, tells you who you're going to chase for sex, or who you're going to have chase you for sex, or if you're going to chase anybody at all. So it's an absolute birth defect, and all birth defects come from nutritional deficiencies in mom and dad at conception, and then mom throughout pregnancy. Doc has actually reversed some birth defects like Down syndrome in the womb of a pregnant woman. Evel Knievel's grand niece, Lauren Knievel. She got pregnant later in life. She had 2 amniocentesis. You know, they took amniotic fluid and they told her, oh, your baby has Down syndrome. You've got to abort your baby. She said, I'm not killing my baby. One of her relatives heard about Doc Wallach, and they called him up, and he says, well, I've never attempted to do anything like this before, but it can't hurt. You know, all I can do is help you. And so he put Mom on nutritional protocol throughout her pregnancy, and she had a baby born perfectly normal, reversed the Down syndrome in the womb. And anyway, it happens in animals and people, and but now they're actually, they're teaching this stuff to these children. They get them young enough, and they can teach them anything they want and convince them of anything. So it's pretty sad. We got a lot of work ahead of us, people. And Zach, we can't do it without you. So you keep up what you're doing, and we'll keep listening. Thank you.
Well, I'd say we can't do it without all of us, and there needs to be a lot more than there already is. But I appreciate it.
Well, you got that right.
Yeah, indeed.
We got a lot of battles. And, we're all fighting in our own way. And, what you're doing, I don't see a whole lot of people doing, at least like you do it. And I'd say that you are the king of Gematria. And I love what you're saying and how easy this stuff rolls out of your mouth. It's like, I hope you aren't offended by this statement, but you're like an idiot savant. I tell people when it comes to Gematria, this stuff just like snapping your fingers, man. You don't even have to think about it. And because it's so real. And I really think they chose that name well, because I tell people it's not real. It is real, and it's all by design. So, all right, brother, have a great night.
All right, yeah, you
we'll
too.
See you next week.
Yeah, thanks, man.
Thanks.
Take care. Okay, and again, for the people in the chat who leave comments like, how come it's the same callers every week? Hey, you know why it's the same callers every week? They want to be on the show. They want to get their voice out there, and it can be you too. Just call in at the beginning. These people are first in line because they're calling. I go in order almost every week. Some weeks I'll randomize, but the reason I go in order is because I feel like if you called in at the beginning of the show, you really want to be on there, you had something to say, that's why I'm putting you on. That's what the show's about, getting other people's voices out there. Sadly, as we know, there's not a lot of people in the world that seemingly want to participate. We go out and pound pavement. It's the same people from coast to coast. Not a lot of us. But you got Cuts One, he's out with me in California. Cuts One's out with me in New York City. We don't have 100 people coming out in either place, but he's there on both coasts. And, it's the same reason that we got the same callers each week. There's just only so many people that want to participate, and we're trying to change that. We're trying to motivate more people to get involved and participate. Someone's telling me in the background that Rambo's channel didn't get censored. He took down his own channel. I do see the screenshot. I'd like to hear from Rambo himself. I've seen that before where one of my videos is taken down and it made it look like I took it down, which I did not. So, anyway, I'll try and reach out to Rambo and see what's going on with the guy. We need to get him back on the show. So, and Rambo's living in the smoke right now. It takes a psychological impact. If you guys, the channel's been deleted from that 2020, but you guys should have seen how dark I was the summer we lived in the smoke for a month. You people on the East Coast haven't had it as bad as we did yet that summer. Just wait till you live in thick smoke for a month. It is not good for your psyche. I'll tell you that much. Anyway. Oh, hold on. Before I go out to the next caller in Cincinnati, I just want, for people who missed it, on July 3rd, the big headline was that Israel had their biggest military intervention in West Bank City in 20 years. And July 3rd, well, what day is that? Oh, that's the day in history that Theodore Herzl died at age 44 years before the establishment of Israel. Who's Theodore Herzl? He's the guy who goes down in the history book as the founder of Zionism. And for the record, Theodore Herzl equals 73, like how he died on 7/3. So does David Ben-Gurion, who declared Israel a nation. The first PM of Israel, David Ben-Gurion. His name also equals 145, David Ben-Gurion, the big way, like how the date it was established was 14/5. But again, Theodore Herzl died at age 44 years before the establishment of Israel. He died in 1904. Israel established 1948. In Gematria, Israel equals 44, Zion 44, Netanyahu, for the record, equals 44 in Hebrew and English. Military equals 44, which is what Israel really is, a military state. And again, the biggest military intervention in West Bank City on that day, guess what West Bank City equals? 44. And again, that's the big killing number. And the headlines were about the death and killing on the anniversary of Theodore Herzl's death, which was obviously a ritual sacrifice. And again, it's more Israel by the numbers. You might recall the week leading up to Israel's 73rd birthday, the big way, Gaza is 73. Gaza's 73. We'll be right back, but they bombed the hell out of Gaza the week before Israel's 73rd birthday. Sit tight, True Seeker. Cincinnati coming up.
Hi, my name is Ella, and I'm 10 years old. I'm one of the millions of children born to parents suffering from the sheeple virus. Symptoms include the inability to think for oneself, the attention span of a goldfish, and a strong belief in government and the mainstream media. It is estimated that 1 out of every 2 children are being raised by parents infected with the sheeple virus. But there is a cure. For as little as 19 cents per day, you can become a TFR supporter and help children like me get their daily dose of truth. Together, we will make sure every child has protection from deception.
Military intelligence. Tell me more about it.
Are you waiting for your turn to speak, sir? Are you listening?
Tell me about the highest level of military intelligence.
Keep interrupting me.
These countries here are lying. We're full of shit. I will not suffer your two people after this. These countries here are lying. We're full of shit. All of it, dude. Check out that. I'm not knocking your friend in Q. I'm just telling you. Oh, he's part of a larger thing in Q. Is he Q? I understand magical powers. I'm asking you with your wizard powers. Oh no, Trump's a small part of the larger Q. No, Paris. We're now learning the secret of Q power. He is a Q priest. It is a religion. Q told us that Hillary was in a prison. He's a well-meaning person, but he's a lightweight. Jake the Barbarian, I guess this is earlier incantation or incarnation. We have Q on the line. Q shaman. Listen, you're a Q wizard, a Q shaman. You are a shamanic wizard. We get that, a Q shaman. Go ahead, Q shaman.
Keep interrupting me.
These countries here are lying. We're full of shit. I will not suffer your Q people after this. These countries here are lying. We're full of shit. All of it, dude. Check out that. Q is like people that look in clouds. One sees a giraffe, one sees an elephant. It's still the military intelligence. The almighty Q Lord, and you are his priest. I don't know if it's for real or whether he's hired the kind. And it's always, oh, there's energy. So you got a bunch of Q-tards into the Capitol. Q told us that Trump was invincible. You said he was the Messiah. Trump's the regular guy. He's not Jesus Christ. They'll never, when they're wrong, say they're wrong. We have Q on the line. Q shaman. Listen, you're a Q wizard. A Q shaman. You are a shamanic wizard. We get that. A Q shaman. Really? No, you're full of crap.
Keep interrupting me.
These countries here are lying. We're full of shit. I will not suffer your Q people after this. These countries here are lying. We're full of shit. All of it, dude. Check out that. Wow.
This is the Truth Frequency Radio Network. TFR.
Truth Frequency Radio.
Condition orange. Condition orange. Situation Delta in effect. Please enter your agent number now, followed by the hash key.
You have to create culture. Don't watch TV. Don't read magazines. Don't even listen to NPR.
Time comes when silence is betraying. More for themselves and less for everybody else. But I'll tell you what they don't want. They don't want a population of citizens capable of critical thinking. They don't want well-informed, well-educated people capable of critical thinking. They're not interested in that. That doesn't help them.
Think for yourself. Question authority.
This code has been compromised.
All right, we're back, True Seeker. Over the commercial break, I sent Rambo a text message. See if we can get him to call in tonight. Hopefully he's doing all right. We need to get his channel back up ASAP. It was a gold mine. But that said, let's get back out to the callers. Cincinnati, 513, you're up.
Yes, sir. Can you hear me, my brother? Can you hear me?
Loud and clear.
I'm trying to decode the next election that's going to take place on next year. Well, not election. I should call it selection.
Right.
And I'm trying to you know, in most cases we have to kind of, in order to figure out what's finna to happen, you have to go back into the last election that just occurred, which will be the midterms. And I'm trying to Gavin Newsom I want to say on the week before last, he put his bid in. He put his presidential bid in on the week before last. And I remember you saying back in April that Gavin Newsom could potentially become president. I'm not saying that it's a chance for him becoming president. I mean, becoming the president on the upcoming election cycle. But I think what it I'm trying to see what's going to get it to take shape and take form. Let's say right here. Let's say hypothetically. Well, not hypothetically. We know it's only on borrowed time. It's only his days are pretty much numbered. We all know that Joe Biden can potentially die this year or next year. But I'm thinking like what you said on last year. Last year in August that he's gonna die next year. And I think we said June of next year that he can possibly pass away. And knowing that, okay, I think this is going to be the 2024 presidential ticket right here. This is going to be the matchup for next year. I can see Gavin Newsom being Gavin Newsom is going to be the main presidential candidate, and Michelle Obama is going to be the vice president. That's going to be that section going up against Trump and Kerry Lake. Are you in agreement with that, sir? Do you see that taking form for next year's presidential matchup? Do you see it being on one side of the aisle being Gavin Newsom and Michelle Obama, and on the opposite side of the aisle, Trump and Kerry Lake? Is it any percentage of that being the final results I mean, not the results, the final, like that's going to be that's going to be the matchup that we see this upcoming election cycle.
That's a possibility. Trump, Carrie Lake. Carrie Lake's a big name. There's a lot of people who like her. That's not a bad thought for his running mate. If not Ron DeSantis, yeah, Carrie Lake. That's a possibility. And again, we're saying if Biden does not run for re-election, again, I speculated that he'd be out of office by June 1st, 2024, possibly fatally. That's what we're talking about, right? That Biden's no longer in the picture, so he's replaced with another ticket, and you're saying Gavin Newsom, Michelle Obama as the replacement Democratic ticket?
Yes, sir. 'Cause I remember you said something, my brother. You said something on the first of last year when the book released, when her book released, and how it was synced up and connected and linked up to the upcoming election.
Right. Yeah, and you had the death of that woman as well. You had the death of the woman who danced with her around the same time. I really do think that ticket could make a lot of sense. Michelle Obama, Gavin Newsom. So yeah, I think those are great thoughts. I mean, I don't know if that's exactly what's going to happen, but those are definitely names that are in the picture. So
because I don't see Kamala Harris. Because she's gonna. We all know that she's gonna take the ranks eventually after that Joe Biden either he passes away of having to leave office for this situations that's going on now pertaining to which is we all know that it's all just distraction, but at the same time, that might be the storyline. The reason why he might either I see two things playing out: either he passes away in office, or he is forced to leave office due to some kind of illegal allegations. So that's what I see kind of coming to fruition pretty soon. Michelle Obama, she's been doing a lot of speeches. She's been doing a lot of interviews, and she's pretty much putting herself back out on the spotlight. Back out there on the spotlight. So that's the only thing I can see. Probably that's the only thing that's really making sense to me right now is what I just mentioned. That's the only thing that's pretty much making sense. And Carrie Lake, has said multiple times as well that she is open. I mean, that she's open for the invitation of being. I mean, for the promotion of being the vice presidential pick. And Trump has said it multiple times as well. That he I was thinking that Ron DeSantis was going to be the vice president pick, but since he jumped in the presidential bid primaries by the numbers just a short while ago, that completely erased that off the table. So that's what I see happening next year during the 2024 election cycle. And one thing I would like to know too, one thing I want to know too of my brother is how can we the code the last election cycle that just took place. I don't really think we have touched on that. We have touched on that by much. We have discussed the 2016 election. We have discussed the 2020 rigged election. I know that we don't really put too much focus. On the midterm elections. But how can that be decoded?
There was a little bit we looked at with the midterms and the numbers and the numbers that ended up for each house. I mean, I didn't put a lot of thought into it, but we covered a little bit of the midterms. Always pay attention to how many Republican and Democrats end up. The number is always symbolic. So.
And Carrie Lake, she said something. She said something. She said it again at a speech back 2 weeks ago. 2 weeks ago, she said something about she wasn't chosen by the court. she wasn't chosen by the coach. I mean, but it was her and they did it was a summit, and I'm trying to remember what city it was in. But she said that out. It's kind of, I don't know if she's talking about the Jesuit cabal or she's talking about something else. It has to be. She has to be referring to the Jesuit cabal. She said she wasn't chosen by the coach, and I think that was just her way of saying it. That was a soft way of saying Jesuit cabal by the coach. She said she wasn't chosen by it. So now that kind of took my interest when she said that, because it. Like they always say, a lot of things that a lot of things that are hidden in the dark would eventually come to the light. So that kind of caught my attention when she stated that 2 weeks ago. And but and another thing, I don't think that now this is not to. This is not to really to sort of like to kill the momentum or to be negative. My brother, like people know that WWE is scripted and predetermined, but they still attend the shows.
Right. Yeah, they
see a lot of people. I think a lot of people are on game, and they're kind of aware that the NFL and the NBA and the MLB and just the hockey league, just pretty much everything has a certain level of scriptness and readness to it. They just don't know. They just don't know how scripted it is, and to the depth that it's scripted and pre-planned. I think a lot of people. It's just like when you go watch a movie. The movie is one big script, but you're going to go support the movie anyway and anyhow. And it's the same thing for WWE. People know that it's rigged and scripted, but they're still filling out the shows. And I believe a lot of people that supporting the NFL and the NBA or just any other sports league out there, major sports league in the country or just outside the country, they know that it's nothing but entertainment. But they're still going out there because they're taking it at face value. They know that it's nothing but foolery. But they're going to support it just because they're taking it. It's just entertainment. So that's why a lot of people they know that the games they know that the games are fixed and rigged, but they're still going out there to the games because. They just look at it I don't really have anything else to look forward to, so I'm gonna go to this game. So it's just the way. I mean, it's just the way that's the only possible reason why I can see people are still going to these games, even though that it's so obvious, it's so blatant, it's so it's so in our faces that it's nothing but a joke, nothing but mockery. But they're still going out to support the games because, it's just like going to a WWE show or to the movies or just any other thing that is similar and related to that spectrum. So.
Yeah, indeed. Yeah, people just want to be entertained. I mean, that's it. And that's why people like Trump, right? Because he's different. He's funny. They like the way he talks. He's entertaining. Just everything in this society is about entertainment. I always make that point. I mean, go to a library for free, and for free you can access all kinds of knowledge. You can pay a fortune to go to the sports game and essentially have your time and energy stolen and wasted. And it seems like people like having their energy manipulated when you really think about it. You go to the sports game, I mean, there's a good chance your energy is going to be harvested in the wrong way. There's a good chance your team's going to lose. And at the same time, people like going to these crazy movies too. These horror movies just to have their emotions messed with. I mean, it's hard to make sense of where people's minds are at and why they're operating and for what purpose they're working. But there's no doubt about it. People like to be entertained and they like the script, right? So I guess when you think about it that way, people love to watch movies and read stories and it's scripted, but it's still entertaining. And I'm sure someday if the NFL comes out and says that they're just like the WWE, people will still be filling up the stadium because they like watching football. So anyway, caller, I got to let some more people on, but I appreciate all your thoughts and ideas. Thank you.
Thank you very much, my brother. I love you, powerfully, sir.
Appreciate it, man. Feelings mutual. You have a good night. Thank you.
Be careful.
All right, take care.
Do the same, sir.
Okay.
Right.
Okay. Now here's the guy who's come out on pound payment with us. What's up, Austin? Austin. Maybe I kept him on hold too long. You still there?
Oh, I hear you.
Yeah, how you doing?
What's good, man?
Yeah, what's up?
Yeah, I haven't called you in a while. Yeah, I haven't called you in a few months. Figured it'd be good to call in. I know your birthday's coming up and stuff, and yeah, it's just I know there's a lot going on, and you're trying to get support up and pound payment and stuff, and I think a big thing, like everyone's talking like 2024. I think there is a lot going towards 2024. I mean, it's my golden birthday, and I think the number 29 and going to be, all this stuff's kind of coming. Everyone's talking about that time, and yeah, the censorship too it's huge, because I remember back in, like I said, I've known you since 2014, and back in 2014, 2015, 2016, there was so much more views, and people, there was just so many more people. And then, like 2017, once the censoring really started, and once, I got out to Seattle, I mean, I could never even find you. So I totally agree with where you're coming from there. And yeah, it's just frustrating. I think everybody right now is just kind of going through something. Everybody's kind of, they got a lot they're going through. And I think it's hard to say exactly why, everybody's falling away and falling off, but it just seems like that's just the way it's going right now for a lot of people. And it's hard to really keep it all together. I'm kind of going through some things right now too, but it's just I wanted to come down in April to go pound pavement, but I had, there's a lot going on then, and I was thinking about going down in August. I haven't traveled with you across the country, but I'd like to possibly do that too. Yeah,
indeed. I'm debating on coming out to Seattle for the MLB All-Star game. So, teach some MLB Gematria.
Yeah, we definitely got to do something again soon. I know. I mean, we pushed that energy back at them at, March for Our Lives, and then look at how, the day in Seattle turned out. I mean, we all came together. The sun came out. I mean, it just shows you the power of coming together right there. I mean,
indeed. Yeah. We defied the odds.
And hopefully, I, inspired some people to come out in LA and speak on the mic and step up and do things. It's all we have is each other. That's all we got. So.
Indeed we do. So, yeah. If you guys want to see me go out to the MLB All-Star game and engage with the baseball fans, teach them some baseball gematria, we can talk about Domingo German's no-hitter and the death of his uncle. Show me some love in the chat. Let me know if you want to see that. Super chats are appreciated. And yeah. Appreciate you, Austin. Thanks, man.
Yep, for sure, man. Great talking to you.
Yeah. All right. You have a good night, friend.
You too.
Take care. All right. Shout out to Gary in the chat. Gary, using the Gematria knowledge, turned $20 into $517 tonight. How about that? Instead of going out and wasting your money on the Starbucks and the fast food and all the crap you don't need, save that money, eat at home, eat a healthier meal, and put that 20 down on a little parlay, and pay for your next month's grocery supply. So, so you guys, Rambo did text me back, and he said he'll come on TFR next week, and he just said that doing the gematria work has brought a lot of problems to his life that are escalating in the moment. So I don't exactly know what that means. I don't know if someone in his own life is giving him grief, a loved one, family, a significant other. I just don't know. But that's unfortunate to hear. And honestly, without even knowing anything, I have a feeling the smoke's having an impact, man. Living in the smoke, it's just not good for the psyche. We've had a little bit of smoke out here the last couple days, but it was nothing like what it was 3 years ago. Yeah, no problem, Ron. Congrats. So, But yeah, I am debating on driving out to baseball for the All-Star game, Home Run Derby All-Star game, 2 days of action. People always appreciated when I was driving Uber Lyft for those few months in 2018. Whenever I took them down to the Mariners Stadium, I'd always tell them about how Major League Baseball equals 162, like the 162 game season. If you run the alphabetic order in reverse, baseball alone equals 162. And then if you just do Major League with the alphabetic order, of course, it's 108, like the 108 double stitches. Baseball alone's 54, like 54 ounce in a game. But maybe go down and since we just had the perfect game with Domingo German after the death of his uncle, I mean, that's a really simple thing to teach people. Perfect numbers. Get people to think about how scripted sports are. Connected from the MLB to the rest of the leagues. Get the Seahawks fans to think about how rigged it is for the Seahawks. Super Bowl 48, the only Super Bowl they ever won. Seahawks equals 48. When you run it in reverse, forward, Seattle Seahawks is 43, like they scored 43 points. That was the Seahawks' 38th season. They beat the 38th state Colorado. Then on 3-8, Russell Wilson goes from the Seahawks to Colorado, only to start the year 3-8 with the Broncos. Anyway, let's go out to 803. What's up, South Carolina?
Hello?
Hello.
Oh, hey, Zach. Oh, yeah, I heard about Rambo. I don't know what happened with his channel, but yeah. I was, what was I gonna say? Oh, you heard about, I know you heard about DJ Vlad, the guy on YouTube who always does the interviews. He had an interview, I think, with John Sally, and I think sometimes he has John Sally on every now and then, but I think it was a recent interview. John Sally, he was talking about he doesn't believe in the Illuminati, but he did admit he was a Freemason, though. So I thought that was weird. He said he was like a 33 degree Freemason.
Who is this? I don't know who this is. John Zelly?
He's a former NBA player. John Sally.
Oh, John Sally. Oh, yeah, I know John Sally. Okay.
Yeah, he's a former NBA player. He's really tall. But he said he didn't learn about Freemasonry, but he said his best friend got murdered and he was a Freemason. I thought that was weird. And then Vlad said he was sworn in as a Freemason, but he didn't do anything.
Well, does John Sally not know the history of the Illuminati's establishment and their plan to infiltrate Freemasonry?
Well, he was talking about like when he was growing up. His best friend was murdered. His best friend was a Mason, but he said he was a 33 degree Freemason. But Vlad was saying he was sworn in as a Freemason, but he didn't do anything. And he might be lying, but yeah. And then they're also talking about because Shaq's a Freemason, and then yeah, they're talking about other stuff, and then I think they had another interview. It might have been a few years ago, and John Sally was talking about how the governments are completely controlling humans worldwide. So yeah, John Sally probably in on it, but Vlad, he probably just lying. He knows more than he's letting on. So
of course. He wouldn't be able to stay up there front and center on YouTube with the big views making all the money if he talked anything real. So
yeah. So if you get a chance, you can check those interviews out.
Okay.
I think it was earlier this year. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Appreciate that.
All right.
All right. Thank you.
No problem.
Okay, just to keep you posted on Rambo. Rambo just sent a bigger text message. He's going to rethink coming on next week. It's not... So what he said is, he said he's being harassed in his real life by the powers that shouldn't be. he said he's clearly ruffled feathers with his work, and they're having a major impact on his life, and it's deterred him from doing the work anymore. And he says he's not sure he's going to come on because he feels like that might provoke more things, and then he might have even more problems in his own life. So that's unfortunate to hear. You know, Rambo, I don't know if he's on. I'll talk to him, but you know, he's his own man. He can do whatever he wants. But to me, it's like you got to fight back. Do you guys remember everything that happened to me? I mean, I've had like so many things happen. I had my house destroyed, my business sabotaged, my house crashed through, all kinds of harassment, the FBI out here. I mean, maybe, I don't know what's going on with him. Maybe something worse happened to him. I don't know. But, anyway. That's just what's frustrating right now. It's just like, just all this support falling off after all this fighting and trying to build this and finally feel like it's getting somewhere. And then ever since we've gone out and traveled across the country, it's just gone down, down, down. It's like, we're never going to, I don't want to say never. But it's like we need way more resources to do big things, and we're just not hitting the milestones. And now we're 1,000,000 miles away from the milestones, right? When it felt like we might get there, it feels like we were 1,000 steps backwards. But we're not quitting. Anyway, hold on. We got a commercial break. We'll be right back, everybody. Taking the calls as soon as we get back.
The truth will set you free. Many people are dealing in affirmations. Best thing to affirm is the truth. If you're broke, best thing to affirm is, I am broke. That's what you put up on the refrigerator. It's the truth that sets you free. And when you're shaving in the morning, gentlemen, if you're broke, you just put that up there. I'm broke. Nothing better to set you free than the awesome facts, the truth. So deal in truth. Affirmation without discipline leads to delusion. And the discipline and the accuracy of knowing your situation. You say, well, that's a bit negative. You've got to deal somewhat in negativity. You've got something fairly wrong with your heart. Looks like you're going to need a major operation. How many x-rays do you want them to take to find out what's really wrong? Somebody says, oh, just take one and see if we catch it. You say, no, not my heart. How many x-rays do you want them to take? It's kind of a negative subject, taking x-rays. How many? As many as it takes to find the full extent of the facts called the negative problem. So best to state the truth. Now we can deal with truth. Now we can deal with the problem if we accurately state.
The reviews for Extendivite are amazing. Here are some from Amazon. September 2018. Extendivite works in keeping my blood pressure in the normal range. I've been using Extendivite for many years now. May 2018. Great product. I use regularly and I rarely get sick. March 2018. This product has relieved what appeared to be angina pain in my chest and shortness of breath after climbing stairs. I'm quite happy about it. February 2018. My husband, son, and I have been using this product for a few months now, and we have noticed an improvement in our joints and blood pressure. Tell us your story. Get Extendivite today. To order, call 1-877-928-8822. That's 1-877-928-8822. Or visit heartdrop.com.
Extend your life with Extendivite.
If there's something you want to achieve, you can achieve any freaking thing you want as long as you know what the goal is. That's why goal posters or goal boards or even just telling someone what your goals are, writing them down is so important, because once you can identify your goal, it makes it so much easier to work towards it. And that's something that I think our children are not being taught in the school system right now, is how to set a proper goal. It's like, hey, what do you want to achieve? Well, the teacher gave me these things I want to achieve. Okay, well, what's that going to do for you? Well, I don't know. The teacher said I had to do it. Okay, that's great, but it doesn't teach them the logical thought process or the creative thinking process to develop a goal and then reverse engineer what they need to do to accomplish that goal. And we need more of that true goal setting in our society. Otherwise, we just have a bunch of sheep who have no idea what they're doing. They're just bumbling around. Don't be a sheep, be a goat. They're more creative and adventurous anyways. Be an ornery goat.
We are TFR.
My destiny is all I need to remain on.
True Frequency Radio.
All right, we're back, True Seeker. We're taking your calls the rest of the way. And shout out to Chris in the chat who did a $20 super chat. Chris uses the knowledge to pay the bills. That Gematria knowledge paid off his credit card debt in 1900. He's had some big parlays in recent days. And again, you guys, I don't want to turn you all into gamblers, but again, this knowledge, it literally can pay the bills. There's so many people who've made so much money off this knowledge. And that's another reason where it's like, how is the support falling off? Like, there should be people building up their wealth and giving back and helping us get our goals so that we have a Gematria Effect news establishment in every corner of this country. Again, there's just too many people that just keep their hands in their pockets and sit on the sidelines and just keep going to their slave job and tune into their YouTube video to help them feel better about where we are in the world. You guys, we got to do more. We can't just have the knowledge in our ears and brains. Like, we got to have the information, and then we got to put it out in the world and do something with it to change things. Anyhow, let's go out to Houston. What's up, 832? Houston. I think we got a problem. Okay, let's go out to 346. 346. Interesting. 346. Okay, we're to that part in the show where nobody wants to answer the phone. 916.
Hey, Zach.
There we go. What's up?
It's Jesse from Sacramento again, bud. How are you?
Doing well. Are you still out there pounding pavement?
Every day, man. I got to tell you something about, people, I don't know, whatever's going on, having fear or whatever's going on. I just lost my job today of 15 years. I worked for a corporation, and it's because of what I was speaking, going out there just spreading truth, talking to people. And I know a lot of these corporations, man. I can name so many of them that played a part in the PSYOP that we just went through the past 3 years. But yes, I lost my job today. I got fired, but man, I got other plans, man. I've been pounding pavement every day, and I eventually want to start my own YouTube channel, spreading the knowledge of Gematria. But yeah, I'm getting better at decoding day by day. Just like I said, I talked to you last time about my bullhorn sitting on my dresser for, I don't know, almost 3 years, man. Finally picked that up. I'm out in the streets spreading the knowledge. I actually went to the stadium here, the King Stadium. They had a summer league on Monday, and it's crazy because I get there. I don't know what's going on because I'm not really into the sports anymore. I used to be, but I get there, and it turns out the Lakers are part of that summer league, and I think the Kings and some other teams. But I was able to reach out to I don't know. It's not a lot of people, but to me, even one person is enough for me. But I think that day on Monday, I got a hold of like 3 to 5 people, and that's a lot, man.
Well, I am sorry to hear that your work fired you for what you're doing, but I think it's going to work out for the best. It's kind of like, I can't go back to my old employment as a teacher. They won't hire me anymore from doing this work. So Well, what happened? Somebody from your work found out that you were out, on the bullhorn on the street, or what?
No, it's just when I'm out and about working, because I work out in the trade and I come in contact with a lot of people. But you know that a lot of people, they don't want to hear the truth, man. They just they get offended, or a lot of people just like believing in lies, man. And when you're out there spreading the truth of how this reality we live in really operates, and it's through the knowledge of gematria, people take offense to it, man.
Indeed they do. Indeed they do. Yeah. Well, again, on one hand, I'm sorry to hear they got fired, but I hear it in your voice. You're not discouraged, and you're on a path, and you're on a mission. So I think it is going to work out for the best. It's just too bad that's the world we live in. You speak truth, and then there's consequences.
Yeah. Hey, Zach, George was talking about Coco Lee, right?
Yep.
And I was trying to remember this, because I was thinking Coco Lee right away. I started thinking about Bruce Lee. And hold on one second, because I know she does connect to Bruce Lee, because I know Bruce Lee, he was born in San Francisco, but he was raised in British Hong Kong. That's where Coco Lee is from. But hold on here.
Well,
she died 145 days before Bruce Lee's birthday. 145 days, and Bruce Lee equals 145.
Yeah.
And if you look at who Coco Lee was married to, if you type that up, you'll see who she was married to, and look at his name.
Hold on, Coco Lee husband. Bruce Rockowitz.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I was going to say, Bruce Lee died on the 201st day of the year, right? And then now she's dead on the 201st day of the Pope's age, and it's the same month. It's July. So you're saying,
She died 119 days before her husband's birthday. 119, and suicide equals 119.
Bruce Rockowitz, 72. She tried to commit suicide on 7/2.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, his name equals 72 too, yes.
Yeah, what do you know? What do you know? And
So
again, to remind
like
people, she's dead at 48. Illuminati 48. She's dead on the 201st day of the Pope's age. Order of Illuminati 201.
Yes. I think that was it, man. That's just kind of, and I know she played the voice in Mulan. So I'm sure there's going to be a lot of connections there with Coco Lee. But yeah, also I was going to tell you about the Domingo German pitching that perfect game. That was on 6/29, and then he pitched the total of 99 pitches.
It was on 6/28. The first two perfect numbers are 6 and 28.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, 6/28. But he pitched 99 pitches, right?
Right. Perfect game. Right? Perfect game. 99.
99, and then won the game 11-0. Then the next day, you got Martin Luther King's sister passed away, and her birthday happened to be on 9/11.
Right, right. And again, they won 11-0, 11 years since their last perfect game, the Yankees.
Yeah. But yeah, Zach, that's all I had, man. Like I said, I'm getting better. I want to maybe focus more on this.
Are you okay financially right now, losing your job like that?
I'm fine. Like I said, I have my son out here with me and my wife, and I'm sure they won't leave me out there to hang out dry, right?
Sure.
I'll be fine.
Okay. If you need anything, you can always reach out to me. I feel a little bit responsible, but you're also inspiring me, so I'm glad you're doing what you're doing.
It's all right, Zach. You've done a lot for me, man, and I'm just going to keep on trucking, man, stay positive, and keep spreading the knowledge, man, too. My movement, I'm calling it, when I'm going out there, to wake up America, and it's to wake up America using your knowledge, gematria, because this is what woke me up, man. This is what snapped me out of it, is your channel, your knowledge that you shared with not only me, but you're sharing it with so many more, man. Thanks again.
Indeed. Well, keep it up, Jesse. And it's going to be a positive in the long run. So, And it's impressive that your voice doesn't sound the least bit discouraged. So good for you.
No, thanks, Zach. You have a good night, bud.
Yeah, you too. Take care, Jesse. Yeah, well, what's going on with him is what needs to go. I mean, just imagine if everybody was Jesse right now. There's like, you know what? I don't care what anybody thinks. I'm going out on the corner and I'm getting the word out. You know what? I lost my job today. I don't care. I feel good because I'm making a difference. I woke up 3 more people. I woke up 5 more people. That's exactly what happened to me in 2013. I just didn't care anymore. I was like, I don't need a job. I don't need any of this crap. All I need is people to wake the hell up because this world is going to a bad place and it's going there fast. And that's exactly what I said to myself in 2013. And I haven't stopped doing what I've been doing for a decade now. And it hasn't been easy. I mean, there's been a lot of consequences that have come, but I've just stayed on the path. So, anyhow. By the way, I got an invite to Anarchapulco, which is in February. They've never invited me before, so it might be in Anarchapulco, for the record. Let's see here. Mississippi, you're up next. 228.
Yo, peace, Zach. Can you hear me, sir?
I can hear you. How are you?
Good evening. Hey, I appreciate you taking my call, man. I've been following you since 2016. I've been following you since you've been in the gray hat sitting on the stairs and the light flickered on you. You know, I appreciate all the information that you've been giving us in the community, sir. 17, 18, 19, all your information, your futures, you hit on point. There was nothing that you missed. Until we come to the shutdown, I tell my wife, I believe the shutdown was created by you and they had to go readjust, bro. I think you made them come back to the table. They started giving different and double riddles and all these from the shutdown, the short season, and all 3 of the major leagues. But you kept up with the narratives. You still giving us the narratives. It seemed like it's getting a little looser once we got here. But for me, in my community, I'm a Moor. I've been studying the science since 16 with you. But in the 90s, I get this information called the Supreme Alphabet. We've been studying our alphabet. A is 1, Z is 26, M is 13. I knew that prior to meeting you. Around 2009, there was a brother named Blue Pill and Red Pill. Blue Pill was given some information about the resonance of 444 or 44. And he said the word gematria or gematria. And I said, man, what's that word? And it led me to you. So in 16, when I find you giving a breakdown of Trump and the Republican and Democratic Party, the light flickered, I felt like you had the knowledge of the truth. And it took me about a year to study the information and listen to you. You and Rambo, man, you're like twin flames. You two go together. If you don't know esoteric information, that's what Rambo is, the key. So for us to lose Rambo, and I apologize if I'm ongoing, but you know, I've been waiting a long time over these years. Since the shutdown, what happened to me, I wound up with stage 4 colon cancer, Zach. I kind of reached out. I'm a company. I'm a health and wellness. I've been on my health and wellness for 30 years. I'm someone that's 52, but my wife is in her 30s, and 20 and 30-year-old women look at me because of my health and wellness, the way that I keep my mentality and keep the metaphysics together. But if we don't know these esoteric sciences that Rambo is talking, most people is lost to the science of the mathematical code that you mastering, which we call gematria. See, the devil runs in numbers and God masters mathematics, which is you. That's why you Z. Z is 26, God is 26. So we master what you giving us as the science from God. That's how your sight is. And if they don't have this knowledge, it's hard for us to get them that follow numbers to understand. They have to master the universe. For us, they don't understand how you have all this knowledge and you simplify it down to 1, 2, 3, easy as A, B, C. But from when I got colon cancer, I sat back a year from 19 to 20 and watched the entire scheme. And Zach, you the truth. There, I gave it to the ministers. You once said around 18 that when black people find this information out, that's when the truth really would be revealed. So it took me a way to find how to dumb it down to get it to the streets. It wasn't too many black people following you when me and my wife first come across this in 16 and 17. We sent it to the minister. I sent it to Red and Blue Pill. Anyone that was in the black conscious community, we told them Zach is the truth. We stand behind that. You wouldn't be called Zach. And bless your mother for giving you 26.
Yeah.
And King Rambo, when you rebutted back, Zach, I've been following you 16. There is not one after TFR or any time Rambo came back that you was malicious. You was on point. You always backed him up. I don't know who gave Rambo the key that you came after him, but for us in the community, they have given Rambo the wrong key. Rambo, you need to connect yourself back because you guys are like Voltron. Come together. That's all I'm really going to say, Zach. I had to rebuild, get myself back together before I come back to the community. I'm here in South Mississippi, the beautiful Golden Gulf Coast. I'm spreading your knowledge. I have some. We down here with a lot of 85ers who blindly gamble and don't understand what is going on because they've been made blind by the system. And we're trying to break the system. They say I had stage 4 colon cancer. I say someone gave me something. When Rambo says there's a lot to come behind the consequences, it is. Zach, you gave us your consequences. You're going to have a consequences. First there is consequences, then there is growth. So if we don't have no sacrifices for ourselves, for God, how can the community grow? Zach, we blessed to know you. Continue to carry your narrative. You got us. We're going to keep you up, King. We will continue to call. Thank you. Peace and blessings.
Thank you very much. Really appreciate your call, and I hope Rambo heard that too. Thank you. Okay. He dropped the mic. Let's go out to 646. 646, you're on.
Yes.
Yes.
Am I on?
You're on.
How you doing, sir? My name is AJ. I met you last year on 9/11 when you came out to New York.
Yeah, indeed.
Yeah. I've been following you since 2020, the day after Kobe Bryant died. And the day that he died was my older sister's 49th birthday. And just so happens that Twin Towers equals 49. And the next day was 127, and buildings 1, 2, and 7 collapsed that day in 2001. So I found that very interesting after listening to the things you said and, just studying the numbers and the letters, and it just connected with me, and I learned so much. I want to thank you, man. You're like the Morpheus of the movie The Matrix.
Well, I appreciate that compliment, but I still got a long ways to go, but thank you. I appreciate it.
Well, yeah, also I would like to say there was a caller before me that was talking about Bruce Lee, and do you know how connected Bruce Lee is to basketball and 9/11?
The only basketball connection I can think of with Bruce Lee is that he fights Kareem in Game of Death. But tell me.
Well, there's other connections. For one, his last name Lee equals 22, just like basketball. And his son died the same year that Michael Jordan's father died.
Okay.
It was also the same year that the Twin Towers was first attacked in 93.
Right.
Okay, the day that Brandon Lee died, 6 years later on that same day, the movie The Matrix came out.
Okay.
And That was the year that Michael Jordan retired, and he won 6 NBA championships.
Okay. Matrix and basketball, for the record, have the same gematria. Never thought about that before, but okay, go ahead.
Yeah, I know, bro. 85, and it kind of hits close to home because I'm born in 85, and on my birthday this year, LeBron James scored 38 points, and I just turned 38 that day, and February 7th was the 38th day of the year, and he was 38 years old, breaking a 38-year-old record. I thought that was strange. Also, 5 days after that day, the Chiefs won they won the Super Bowl with 38 points on Abraham Lincoln's birthday. I used to go to Abraham Lincoln High School back from 99 to 2004. I was in Abraham Lincoln High School, which means in 2001 I was 16 years old in Abraham Lincoln High School, and Abraham Lincoln was the 16th president. There's a lot of strange things that I find going on in my life. Not only that, but there was 3 NBA players that used to attend Abraham Lincoln High School, and they made it to the NBA. And when I look at the number 3, I see the number 79, which is the 22nd prime, and basketball equals 22. So that connects back to Bruce Lee, and his last name Lee equals 22. I thought that was interesting.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that is really interesting. So okay, hadn't made those connections before. Interesting thoughts.
Well, I really need your help, sir, because I've been writing a manuscript that I'm trying to get published, and it's about me and my life and how all these connections are coming together, and it's really strange. Like, I'm born February 7th, 1985. If you go into your date numerology calculator, you will see all the basketball numbers there.
113. 113.
Huh?
113.
Not only 113, but you get 94.
Is that how long the court is? 94 feet?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Huh.
And you also get the number 32, and Magic Johnson was the number 32, and my last name is Johnson.
Huh, okay.
And that equals 32.
Yeah.
Johnson also equals 94, which is very strange that it equals both numbers, 92, 34, 31, 95. In 95, Michael Jordan came back from retirement, and he made it to the playoffs, but he didn't win the title that year. But the next year, he won 72 games, and I'm born on 2/7 or 7/2.
Interesting. Yeah. Well, you're in New York. Book Baby's right there. That's how you can self-publish. That's how I get my books published. I have to self-publish. So.
Oh, self-publishing?
Yeah, because I don't have an actual publisher. I have to self-publish. So I use Book Baby. They're out of New York.
Okay, that's cool. I wanted to know something. My mom was telling me that I may have a legal problem with the title of my book, and it's called Bruce Lee, Spike Lee, and Me. I was wondering if you have any
I don't think
idea.
so. I don't think so. That would be covered under the First Amendment. I mean, that's the title of your book. So.
Okay. That's what I thought, because I spoke to about 4 publishers, and they was willing to publish my manuscript, but I just didn't have the funds to do it. And right now I'm in a better position in life where I could get this done, but I'm still not able to.
Just so you know, I don't really love Amazon, but they also have a self-publishing feature that actually is a lot cheaper than Book Baby. So you might want to look into that too.
Okay. Cool. Let me see. Is there anything else? Well, Bruce Lee did die the same year that the Twin Towers opened, which was in 73.
Yep.
I thought that was also interesting. And we know that World Trade Center equals 185, like basketball, and 94, like the basketball court is 94 feet in length. So that's like all of the connections I found out with Bruce Lee and basketball. And then it leads up to my birthday, my 38th birthday, with LeBron breaking Kareem Abdul-Jabbar's record. And Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, he just turned 76 years old in April, and 38 plus 38 equals 76. So I was like, whoa, this is unbelievable. And I try to talk to people in my family, friends, and I don't know if people understand what I'm saying, but it's not that hard to see, because I don't talk with crazy words or anything. I make it simple and plain for people to see, but it's like
a lot of people's minds just shut down. A lot of people's minds just shut down when it comes to this information. But again, we all have an organic side once we become aware of the knowledge, and it is really interesting. So yeah, that huge 38 ritual on your 38th birthday, and yeah, I mean, it's just, life is funny like that. Anyway, we have a lot of people on hold tonight. We actually got more callers today, but yeah, put your work out there, self-publish, look into the options. And like I said, you can research that Amazon one too. We're going to the commercial break right now. Be right back, everybody.
Censorship and regulation is becoming an ever-growing problem in today's modern media. From the mainstream to YouTube and Google, the information you're looking for is buried by official narratives and propaganda. This is why TFR is 100% uncensored, unregulated, and listener-supported. The shows on TFR are not micromanaged by the station, and our hosts are free to speak their minds however they please. As such, the views and opinions expressed on our station are of those who make them. If you happen to hear anything offensive on TFR, please send us an email to toughtitty@tfrlive.com, and we'll be happy to tell you that we really don't give a damn. We stand for freedom of speech and non-censorship. If you also stand for free speech, you can go to tfrlive.com/signup and sign up for a TFR supporter pass and help us in our mission to keep the airwaves uncensored and unregulated. TFR Live, your uncensored and unregulated protection from deception.
No.
$1 million.
And by the way, my son, wait a minute. Mr. President, your campaign agreed to both sides would get 2-minute answers uninterrupted. Well, your side agreed to it, and why don't you observe what your campaign agreed to as a ground rule, okay, sir?
Look, here's the deal. Tremendous sprouts, and Joe Desicolson has 3 people.
Here's the deal. He's been totally irresponsible. Yes, he's a fool. Here's the deal.
President Trump did a phenomenal job. Would you shut up?
Look, here's the deal. I don't trust him at all. Nor do you. I know you don't.
Let me shut you down for a second, Judge. He wants to shut down the country. Let me shut you down for a second, Judge. I've done more than you've done in 47 years, Judge.
I get my time back. You can't fix the economy until you fix the COVID crisis. He does not have a plan. I know how to do the job. It's the same process.
There has never been an administration that's done what I've done. Let her shut down.
Shut the guy down. President Trump, you have begun. Look, here's the deal. It's hard to get anywhere with this climate.
This is the way it is.
Look, here's the deal.
President Trump did a phenomenal job.
Come on, man. Here's the deal. Everybody knows he's a liar.
Fake news. They give me bad press.
Look, here's the deal. I don't trust him at all. Nor do you. I know you don't. Listen, it's up, Jack. 200,000 dead. If we just wear a mask, we can save half those numbers.
We got the gowns. We got the masks. We made the ventilators. You don't know how many people died in China. You don't know how many people died in Russia. You don't know how many people died in India.
Maybe you could inject some bleach in your arm. That would take care of it. Let's see the disinfectant. A lot more going to die. Let's see it gets a lot smarter.
So, did you use the word smart? Don't ever use the word smart with me. Because you know what? There's nothing smart about you.
Here's the deal.
Tremendous sprouts, and Joe Desicolson has 3 people.
Here's the deal. He's been totally irresponsible, responsible. Yes, he's a fool. Here's the deal. President Trump did a phenomenal job. Would you frown?
Into the truth frequency.
Your protection from deception. This is Truth Frequency Radio.
Condition orange. Condition orange. Situation Delta in effect. Please enter your agent number now, followed by the hash key.
You have to create culture. Don't watch TV. Don't read magazines. Don't even listen to NPR.
Time comes when silence is betrayal. More for themselves and less for everybody else. But I'll tell you what they don't want. They don't want a population of citizens capable of critical thinking. They don't want well-informed, well-educated people capable of critical thinking. They're not interested in that. That doesn't help them. Think for yourself. Question authority.
This code has been compromised.
All right, we're back, Truth Seeker. We got an hour left. We're taking your calls the rest of the way. If you want to phone in tonight, still time, 213-233-3998. Let's go out to our good friend in New York, who was out there last year with everybody else, including Rambo. How you doing tonight?
Good. What's up, man? Hello?
Yeah, just did you hear what I said about
Yeah,
Rambo?
what's up?
You hear about Rambo?
Yeah, I was listening, yeah.
Yeah, maybe reach out to him and talk to him. It sounds like he needs some encouragement.
I need to give him a call tomorrow.
Yeah.
I'm going to give him a call tomorrow. We need to connect up back together, man. We need each other. But this fight is not easy, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, indeed.
Yeah, the more arsenal you have, the better it is. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. But yeah, we got to pick Rambo back up because his work needs to be out there. So.
Yeah, definitely. But everything is looking up. You know what I'm saying? When they start doing stuff like that, the word is getting out there. And people might not be calling in every week, but the message is getting out.
Seemingly it is.
People don't want. Because a lot of people don't want to come on the radio, you know. So people just listening. Most of the time, people are listening. The word is getting out because the young kids, when you reach to the young kids, they got my mind grasp things. They jump to stuff.
Yes.
And simpler you see that when you tell people, yeah, you can win money. That's the catch. There's a catch to it. That will get them more in tune, you know what I'm saying? Because a lot of people have this minded with money. You know what I'm saying? So if that's the way you gotta do it, you gotta just do it the way, you know?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah, so I'm just chilling, as usual. I'm here.
Okay. Well, I'm glad you're in New York, close to Rambo. Yeah, I think you could be a good friend to him right now.
Yeah.
He sounds like he needs some support.
Yeah, definitely. I'm gonna give him a shout out tomorrow.
Okay. Yeah.
Definitely. And I will show it to you and tell you what become of that conversation.
Yeah. I think it'll be a good one. So.
Yeah. Bless up, one love, every time.
Always. It's always good to hear your voice, friend.
Yeah.
Appreciate you. Thank you.
Yeah, always.
All right, friend. You have a good night.
All right. Yeah, cool. Yeah, you too.
All right. Take care. Okay. Out of everyone who came out to the New York group, 3 of them are regular callers. Our friend at the beginning who always has the good observations, our friend right there, and of course, Rambo. And we just got to get Rambo back on the train. 319.
The good people in the world do not say to commit suicide. The good people in the world do not say to commit suicide. The good people in the world do not say to commit suicide.
Okay. Coco Lee didn't commit suicide. Guarantee it. Let's go out to 618. 618, you're on.
Hello?
Yeah.
Hey, about the last caller, man, people need to chill out, you know, they take things a little too seriously sometimes, you know.
The last caller who was chilling? You said he was
No,
chilling.
the suicide line. I mean,
oh, that's just a troll.
you know,
That's just a troll. He just records something and then he plays it in. When I pick up, it's just on record repeat. So.
We all know you mean it as an expression, you know, like they make you want to, you know, kill yourself sort of thing, you know. It's just an expression, you know. People take it too seriously, you know. They need to learn that, you know. Some people, that's just how they, you know, express themselves. They go overboard, you know, when they're pissed off.
Well,
And then
sure,
they- and then
and
they
I'd
take
say
it too
if
personal.
you sit on hold every week just to play some troll message, I mean, you might actually want to consider suicide. So, anyway.
Yeah, seriously. I mean, some people these days, man, I don't know. You know, euthanasia is probably, you know, in style right now. A lot of dead lives. You know, people who, you know, they don't live, so you might as well die. You know.
Yeah, I mean,
You know,
literally,
they're
like I
dead
can't imagine.
spiritually.
I just can't imagine like sitting on hold and just waiting till your call get answered just to play some, just recording over and just doing it week after week. It's like, I hope that person's being paid to do what they're doing because it's like out of
people
all
are
the
just
things you could do in the
People
world.
People are soft, Zach. You know, in the Bible it says, "Let the dead bury the dead." You know, and these are like, you know, prophets. They're pretty good, decent people. You know, the world's a scary place. You know, but let the dead bury the dead. There's a lot of dead people, you know, on earth who, you know, they think they're alive, but they're actually dead. You know, they have no spirituality. Have they ever eaten, you know, 3 grams of magic mushrooms? Probably not. You know, they don't know what life is.
Woo! That's a big dose, but
that's what I usually do. You know, that was my first time I did 3.5 grams. And,
it depends on
you know,
on
like
what mushroom
Allison
you're
was-
doing. Some mushroom dosage that isn't as heavy as others. Like if you're doing cyanessence, 3.5 grams, that's a lot. But like cubensis is not as bad. So
Yeah, it was Kubensis, but I broke through. You know, like I had an ego death, which is most valuable. You know.
Sure.
When doing those drugs, you know, you get that ego death and you begin to see, you know, you sort of enter through hell and heaven, you know, like that was my experience. I went to like heaven and then I went to hell. And, you know, it's, you know, this is why I say, you know, like magic mushrooms is like a suicide. It's honestly, I wouldn't commit suicide. I would just eat mushrooms, you know, because you could just like kill your ego. And it's sort of like death, you know. It doesn't have to be physical. You literally kill your. It's like you're cleaning your computer or your processor, and you're going through all the viruses, and the mushroom helps you with that. It has like this knowledge, you know. It's almost like a gematria knowledge inside the mushroom. I'm sure if you were to like channel, you know, information for gematria on a mushroom trip, like you could probably gain a lot of insight.
That very well could be true. That very well could be true. I have not done mushrooms since I learned about gematria. The last time I did mushrooms was before I knew about gematria. So it's been over a decade.
Interesting. So do you think there's a pattern there between you and like mushrooms and your path to Gematria? Do you think like mushrooms opened your eyes to?
Sure.
Do you think it's
I've
guiding
talked
you
about that
in
before.
some way?
No, I've talked about that before because when I got into mushrooms, I got into Terrence McKenna and then things Terrence McKenna was talking about. And if anyone's ever listened to Terrence McKenna, I mean, a lot of his ideas parallel things that we talk about here. And, you know, something that blew my mind the first time I did mushrooms was just how, again, when you look at the sky on mushrooms, it's like you can see, you feel like at least you can see the dome and it looks geometric. It almost, to me, it looked like a massive honeycomb in a way. And, yeah, again, it goes back to that sacred geometry thing. But yeah, again, for people who've never heard me talk about magic mushrooms before, I really do think they're something that could save the world. Not like for people don't understand. It's not about like tripping out and hallucinating. It's like if you do the right dosage, you get just this really clear mind. And, you know, things that are bothering you in your life, you have like a perspective. I'm like, why am I letting that bother me? Why do I continue to do that? Oh my God, I need to overcome that. It can be so therapeutic. And again, when you hear the last caller say, you know, we're all one, for everyone who's ever heard that phrase and never felt like we're all one, it's because you've never been on mushrooms before. You get on mushrooms on the right dosage, you will feel like we are all one. And you'll feel like you're totally connected to everything that's living, all the plants around you and everything. It's a really beautiful thing. And you know, I've hardly turned on the TV at all lately, but I turned on Fox News just the other night, and what they happened to be talking about was Aaron Rodgers recently was promoting ayahuasca, and he was saying that he had his best touchdown to interception ratio after doing ayahuasca. And then all the pundits got there and they're like, oh my God, Aaron Rodgers sounds like he's lost his mind. I definitely don't endorse ayahuasca. And the person's like, yeah, I don't know about that ayahuasca. I don't think it's pretty safe. And I heard you get upset stuff. I was like, look at just mainstream, all these people on TV that are the mainstream news are just the biggest assholes in the world. They don't know they might know actually, but it's so obvious that their job, it doesn't matter if you're watching Fox or CNN, all these stations are just meant to keep people in their lane, and in the lane is ignorance. Here, believe in this political party. Keep believing in this bullshit over here. God forbid you ever think about this. Oh, that's a conspiracy theory. Oh, drugs are bad. It's just like all we're getting from the mainstream all the time is nothing but lies. Hallucinogenic drugs in the right dosages are so good. The Fox News panel got on about how bad ayahuasca can hurt your stomach, and then it goes to commercial, and they're advertising all these pharmaceuticals that can literally kill you. Oh yeah, here, you want to clear up your skin? Well, here's all the side effects that can kill you. It's just like, I mean, it's just... Turn off the TV, people, and stop listening to these assholes. I know our audience already gets it, but God, just the mainstream, they're just listening to the biggest bullshit con artists all day who don't... hallucinogenic drugs really could save the world and take people out of the mental comas they're in. And, yeah, if you've never done magic mushrooms, you better find somebody who has and who can hook you up with the right dosage so that you have an enjoyable experience. I've done that for a lot of people, actually. I used to pick mushrooms, and I've introduced a lot of people to the sweet psilocybin cyanescence that grows out here in Washington State. But yeah, go ahead, caller.
Yeah, no, mushrooms is a game changer. I'm sure it's guiding you, or it did guide you towards Gematria in some sort of subconscious way.
I always said it did. You didn't see my earliest videos. I have an early video from like 2013, 2014 on mushrooms, and I said it was definitely part of the journey of getting to where I am. So,
yeah, maybe you should do them again, and ask the mushroom gods to give you some Gematria knowledge, because, I honestly think that we, like, when you're on mushrooms, you're able to access like this parallel dimension that you're not able to see when you're sober.
Right.
And it's sort of like mysticism, you're tapping into like this invisible, knowledge that nobody else can really see until you ingest mushrooms. It's Aldous Huxley's the door of perceptions, heaven and hell. It opens that gate to I don't know, if you're closed-minded, mushrooms will open your mind to the endless possibilities of order and chaos and how everything just goes and blends together in a way. And
the thing is, so many people though so like a lot of people in their mind, because they're the type of people who watch TV and believe what the news pundits tell them. The only person I've seen have a bad experience the first time they're doing mushrooms when I was with them is somebody who I knew shouldn't have done it. It was my friend's girlfriend, and he was really pushing her to do it, and she didn't want to do it. And she was actually a little bit older than us. She's actually 10 years older than me. My friend's 5 years older. She was 5 years older than him. But she really didn't want to do it, and I kept I said, well, don't have her do it then, because it's not going to be a good time. But just when she first did it, she just went in this tantrum, and her stomach hurt, and she was having the worst time. But what was nice is after about an hour of her tantrum and whatever she was doing, she stopped, and all of a sudden she realized, wait a minute, this is kind of cool. And she did make a comment like that. She said something like, oh, maybe for the first time I could understand why people believe in God. I was like, yeah. For people who don't understand, this has been written about by a lot of people. Terrence McKenna and many others have written a lot about mushrooms, Aldous Huxley, but a lot of people believe that this is where the idea of spirituality and religion, it originated in somebody who was having a hallucinogenic experience. Because when you are on mushrooms, you're in the world that you're in, but you see the world with a different lens that you cannot see when you're sober. And again, it's like you go out in the woods and you can see how alive the plants are. You can see it with your own eyes. It almost feels like the plants are breathing, like they're pulsing. It's more than just hallucinating. It's like you're seeing life through a new lens. And again, you just never felt more connected. You never felt more in tune. Your body feels great too. If you do have stomach irritation, here, I'll tell people a good way to do mushrooms if you've never done it before. First of all, the dosage is important. If you do too much, you're going to have a bad time. If you don't do enough, you're not going to feel anything. You got to find the right dosage. Like a cyanescence, about 1.5 grams for your first dosage or less is about where you want to be. But the best way to ingest it, really, is to just take hot water like a tea and just put the mushrooms right in there and let the mushrooms soak in that water and then just drink the water down just like it's tea. You can drink the mushrooms too, but it'll mostly pull out what's in the mushroom. If you like the mushroom grosses you out and you don't want that in your mouth, you'll have less stomach pain too. But just the hot water with the mushrooms soaked in it will work. But yeah, if you put the mushroom in, you'll get even more of that dosage. But yeah, I mean, I haven't talked to when I first started my channel, I talked a lot more about mushrooms because I was closer to my mushroom days. Like I said, it's been 10 years now. Really, it's been more than 10 years now since I've done mushrooms. But again, I feel bad for everybody who lived and never got to experience magic mushrooms and went to the grave without that experience. I feel like you got cheated on life. It's something that everyone should experience.
Aldous Huxley, I'm sure you know who he is. He said that in his book, one of his books, I don't know which one, that living your whole entire life without ever going through a psychedelic trip or hallucinogenic like mescaline or mushrooms, DMT, is sort of like going through your whole life without ever having sex. That's what he said. So
I'd say it's worse. No, I mean, yeah, because sex is something you should probably experience too. But no, the thing about sex isn't gonna get. It's worse because again, for people who've never done it, you cannot relate with what I'm saying. But if you did it, then you would understand. You really do see the world through a lot more spiritual lens. It's super powerful. I've told the story before. My ex-girlfriend was a drug and alcohol counselor. And I got her to try out magic mushrooms. She at first she really didn't like the idea, but I just said, trust me. I said, because she did trust me. I built the trust. I said, we'll go out. We'll be in the woods in your favorite beautiful place. We'll just do a little bit. Man, she could not believe how amazing it was. And the very next weekend, she wanted to go out and do it again. And a month later, she didn't want to be a drug and alcohol counselor anymore. And that's because she realized she'd had these younger kids that she was always dealing with come in, and she'd without even knowing anything, she'd just be like, no, don't do that anymore. No, you definitely don't want to do that. And she didn't even know anything about that. So now she didn't feel right about being a drug and alcohol counselor because she's like, wait a minute, part of what we're doing is also ignorance. I mean, it's not good to be addiction and be on all this other stuff, but she realized, like, wait a minute, maybe they're, okay. So anyway, she's not a drug and alcohol counselor anymore, but the point is, she was violently opposed to the idea, then she experienced it and thought it was the most amazing thing she had ever experienced in her life. So... And there's a lot of people that have that same feedback.
Yeah. Hello?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I quit cigarettes on my first magic mushroom trip. Like I had a really bad addiction with smoking a pack a day. And the first time I did mushrooms, I just quit. Like it was so easy to quit. I don't know why. But the mushroom made it so easy to get rid of my bad habits and addictions. And, who knows, maybe I'd still be smoking till this day, every day, if it wasn't for my magic mushroom trip. And
that's common. That's common.
Benefits.
The mainstream media's even written about that, how taking magic mushrooms can help people end their addictions. That's common. Yeah, that's why they're so powerful. They do so many things. They're like they're an amazing tool that everybody should get to experience. I mean, I did a video in 2013 or 2014 about how I thought, like if we're gonna have a 13 years of school, there should be a part of your curriculum where you're in your group with your peers. That there's an adult there who's experienced, who knows to give the right dosage to each student and do it in the right safe conditions so that students can experience this. And, if I went and proposed that to a school district right now, you have all these closed-minded people who've never done it, they'd be like, oh my God, this person's totally insane. You get all those same people to experience it themselves first, and they might be like, you know what, I think we do need to have the students do this. So...
Yeah, but then the students, they'd be creative, imaginative, they would be open-minded. Everything the system hates, create right brain, because I feel like mushrooms is very right brain. You're sort of like swimming through the unknown, and so that's why society doesn't really like it, because it's sort of afraid of of the unknown. And I think mushrooms is like the perfect drugs for tapping into, like information that's unknown, even in your own mind, like opening your mind to new information and possibilities. It's literally like a hidden world that few are privileged to go through. But I wouldn't do it, you have to do it responsibly, sort of know that it's a spiritual drug and that it's going to like change your whole entire life in so many aspects. You like I said, I quit smoking. I started to, empathize more with humanity and other people. It literally, I don't know. It's like a Bible, It's, people usually like to read the Bible or need something external, but the Bible is in you, and the mushroom teaches you that. It teaches you that the knowledge is actually inside of you, and it's also externally as well, right? You'll be able to sort of pinpoint internal knowledge with external reality, so to speak, and that's what mushrooms does. It's sort of, like you said, it connects you with the nature of things. Nature starts glowing, the lights are brighter, everything's more vibrant. You begin to see life through, like Nikola Tesla said. He said, if you want to understand the secrets to the world, he said that you have to think in vibrations. And when you eat mushrooms, you really see the vibration. You begin to, dissect. You're able to see the unknown world, how everything is frequencies, and, just things like that. And I think it's interesting. If anybody wants to really change their life, it's a suicide. I already said it. It's literally, it's like the advanced version of suicide. Whereas in, I had a bad trip, but I honestly think my bad trip was a good trip because I was able to see all of my patheticness, and my ego. Like, I thought that was so amazing. I'm so intelligent. And then I ate mushrooms and I felt like a fucking dumbass. I didn't know this world existed until I ate the mushrooms and realized, wow, there's so much more beyond my imagination or expectations. You think you know everything. When you're 20 years old or 21, you think you know how the world works, how and you don't know anything. And mushrooms will teach you how little you really know. And yeah, so I think everybody who wants to become enlightened and change the world should eat mushrooms. But of course, like I said, it's not a party drug. It's a drug that's going to make you quit every single drug you've ever used in your past. It's gonna expel the bad programming inside of your brain that the Matrix is forcing you to eat, so to speak, and I don't know. I think it's the best teacher on the planet, honestly, is a plant. But I honestly, what do you think of in the Bible, the prophets, right? Do you think they were tripping on mushrooms? I think there's a possibility that
that's Terence McKenna's whole theory. That's all Terence McKenna's whole theory is that all the people who came up with the spiritualizing religions were tripping. So it's very possible.
Mm-hmm.
It's very possible. All right, caller, appreciate it, man. We got a commercial break.
Let you go.
Yeah, thank you.
Now, fear is going to be a player in your life, but you get to decide how much. You can spend your whole life imagining ghosts, worrying about the pathway to the future, but all there will ever be is what's happening here, and the decisions we make in this moment, which are based in either love or fear. So many of us choose our path out of fear disguised as practicality. What we really want seems impossibly out of reach and ridiculous to expect, so we never dare to ask the universe for it. I'm saying I'm the proof that you can ask the universe for it. My father could have been a great comedian, but he didn't believe that that was possible for him. And so he made a conservative choice. Instead, he got a safe job as an accountant. He was let go from that safe job, and our family had to do whatever we could to survive. I learned many great lessons from my father, not the least of which was that you can fail at what you don't want. So you might as well take a chance on doing what you love.
Discover the extraordinary powers of intuitive healing with pain transmutation, a method of holistic healing for the human soul, body, mind, and emotions. If you are looking for answers and a deep understanding of how to help yourself and the people around you to live a happier, healthier life, this is the right place for you. Learn how to read your soul's history in the Akashic Records, remove negative energy attachments from your astral body, and start the process of inner and outer pain transmutation. Join Pain Transmutation Community to get started on the path of intuitive healing. Change your energetic state, manifest new and exciting experiences, re-energize your life, and build inspiring connections with others in our community.
Greetings, Earth Explorers. My name is Brooks Agnew, and I am your host on X Squared Radio every Sunday evening at 8 p.m. Eastern Time on the Truth Frequency Radio Network. This is where the past meets the future. We explore the mysteries of the universe and of the Earth. We might go a little past your imagination, but have no fear. You will be safely traveling with us. We will dissolve the propaganda of dangerous people with dangerous plans for the planet. We will discuss the latest technologies and challenges for humankind. We will discover the safest place for you to stand when the thinkings and doings of mankind come flying apart, and how you can be one of the people that helps put it back together. Join us.
No hate, no hype, no fear. We are TFR Frequency Radio.
All right, we're back, Truth Seeker. We're taking your calls. We got 30 minutes of show left. And next up is New Jersey, Hackensack, out in the 201. How you doing? Hello? New Jersey? Okay. Maybe just listening. Let's go out to Louisiana, 504.
What's up, Zach?
How you doing?
I'm all right. That's crazy. You guys are talking about mushrooms and stuff. You know that Terrence McKenna was born on November 16th, and Albert Hoffman actually first synthesized LSD on November 16th. Of course, not the same years, but pretty weird, huh?
I didn't know that. Interesting.
I know, right? What are the odds? I don't know too much about Alan Watts, but I know he's like, yeah, I don't listen to him too much, but he's up there with them. He actually died on November 16th.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah. You know what? You know how you say, like you really can't explain the mushrooms to it? It's like, man, it's kind of like DMT. Once it's like you do shrooms and you're like, oh, you can never explain that. But then it's like, it's almost like, imagine trying to explain DMT to somebody else, because like mushrooms is like, it's almost like it's one realm, one other paradox, but DMT is out of, that shit's crazy, man. It's crazy. Like there's no way to explain it. It's like you just have to see it for yourself. And I try to explain it to a friend, like, you know, and it got so bad, it was like, well, shit, let me see. And then like we sat there, and then like when they came back, they're just like, what the fuck? And I'm like, see? And it's just like, I didn't have to say anything anymore. Like, you know, and that goes into trying to explain gematria and all type of stuff to them. You know, just try to get, you know, a closed-minded person that wants to know but just really can't understand. And then after that, there's like, I get it now. Like, you know?
Sure. Some things have to be experienced to be understood. So.
Yeah, like you just can't, like, it's weird. Because like one time I did it, and it's like, it's hard to explain, but it feels like your vision is almost like reality's buffering, and it's like it's flickering. It's like off and on when it's wearing off. Like it's like reality's flickering. Like as if you're turning your head, it almost seems like it stops, pause, like it's glitching. Like this shit's weird, bro. I don't know. It's just pretty crazy. Like it's weird to think that if that's just something chemically going on in our brain, or that just, you know, reroutes your vision and all whatever goes on in the human brain. Is weird that we're actually possible to go through that and live. And then it's not addictive. It's not like, oh, I want to do it again. And it's just like, once you do it one time, you're like, you're good. That's all you need. And
it depends on the person, honestly. Like for me, it's not addictive at all.
Yeah.
I just like these, but there's some people who enjoy it so much they just want to do it all the time. When I picked
those
them,
those are those people who say they the machine elves and all that. I've never seen no elves and jackals or that's that Joe Rogan stuff, right? He spins the narrative and it's I went here and I seen aliens. It's like, no, you go somewhere, but I don't have no genies talking to me. But it's some kind of, how do you say that, geometric type headspace, and you always go to the same place. That's what's weird. It's not like, if you do, I've done shrooms a bunch of times, but it just all depends, the mood, the setting, might see clouds, it's like DMT, that takes you somewhere where it's structurally there, that it's never like you're going to go to the exact same place. You're going to see different stuff. Shrooms stuff just might be different, for me personally.
Sure.
But I think that's the two different things. And it's almost like how you say take a room full of kids and put them, it's like, man, what if we all, not what if we, but it's like, man, I would love to see, like, be in the same room with you and do DMT. And just, because I know you, I'm not sure, well, I don't think you've done it, but it's like, man, if there could be anybody that's worth it, it was like, I would like to see your reaction, or like what, you know what I mean? Someone is like, with your knowledge of, and I would be like, man, just have your opinion of it. Because, man, and then how you guys are saying with the, religion and all that, like I feel like that's where everything really comes from. Not comes from, but it's almost, I feel like personally, like the DMT headspace or something, I felt like maybe they were able a long time ago to be able to stay there longer, and they knew how to communicate and go in and out of there and get some kind of knowledge, or, and that's why it's like, I like Gematria, because it's part of me, like, I like it. I know about it, but it's just like, me personally, deep down inside, I think it's something more natural and just something more than we can actually grasp. You know what I mean? And that kind of all goes down that same situation for me, because it's just like, once you see some things, you can't really wrap your head around it, and that's okay that, you can't, but you want to get to the bottom of it, and you keep learning, and, the more you're familiar with things, and you start to understand, it starts to come to you, But sure, there's definitely some kind of something out there that's just way beyond us. And if that is creator or whatever, then that's just,
Indeed. And creation, are there certain things in creation that have more spiritual access in them? And again, for people who don't know, the largest organism on Earth is the mushroom. And for people who don't know, Oregon, the state, has the largest mushroom network in the entire world. So
the fungi has been around for billions of years.
Yeah. All right. Well, I appreciate it.
Yeah.
Thank you.
All right. Good talk. Thanks.
Yeah. You have a good night.
Good night.
All right. Yeah. Somebody said in the chat too, like, it's not about partying with these things. People do like party with psychedelics, but that's not the right way to use them. To me, the right way to use them is go out into a beautiful place in nature and take a nice subtle dosage. And it usually takes about 45 minutes to kick in. And when it kicks in, and you're just thinking on a higher wavelength. So I told my mom over a decade ago that she needed to do them to get over her problems, because she's in the chat right now, and she didn't do it. Instead, she came up and stole the jar of mushrooms and hit them, and now she says that didn't happen, which is hilarious. But like my mom, she just here. I'm gonna explain something to you. Like my mom, she can't. She thinks the whole world's the problem and not her. Like, here's a real thing. She called a week ago. I was helping her because she got sued by the company that she sued, and that's because she paid them to put on a roof on her house, and they didn't do a good job, and the new roof leaked instantly the first time it rained. And the reason they didn't come out and resolve the problem is because my mom handles the same situation anyway. She gets on the phone and calls and starts screaming and cussing. At no point does she explain it calmly and just ask like a reasonable person to get help. She just gets on the phone and starts screaming and cussing. And then if you tell her that that's what she's doing, then she starts screaming and cussing at you and say you don't support her. So anyway, she had that going on. And then she had to get something else fixed at her house. A pipe was leaking, and they didn't fix that right. So then she started calling and screaming and cussing at them. So now they won't even return her call, and they're not coming out to help, and they don't even care that the pipe's still leaking. And then she's always calling me and telling me about it and saying, now what should I do? And I always try to tell her what to do. Well, you got to stop screaming and cussing at everyone and just, call up like a normal human being and say, you just came out here and fixed the pipe, but I just want to let you know it's still leaking. Could you please come back out and take a second look? Because if she just handled it that way, the problem would be resolved. But see, she goes through life the same way every single time, screaming and cussing at everybody and never communicating like a normal human being. And then she thinks everybody else is the problem. I guarantee if my mom could just do mushrooms one time in the right dosage, all of this would probably just become so clear to her, and she might live however much of her life is left not behaving this way. And she's going to text, I'm sure, before long, and she's going to be all mad. She's like, that's not true, when it's 1,000,000% true. Everything I said is 1,000% fact and stone. It's just like, how can you not figure it out, Mom? How can you not figure out that you're the problem? All you do is scream and cuss at everybody. You never communicate like a human being. When I first moved to Yakima, something that we had was out of warranty because our home that we bought, it took longer to finish than it was supposed to, and it was a piece of hardware in the home. And anyway, we went into the store where it was bought, and I was talking to the lady, and we explained the situation about how we had just moved in, so even though it was out of warranty, it was brand new to us. And she said, I understand. And she was figuring out a way to help us, even though it was out of warranty, and she was doing it. And then my mom happened to be there, and my mom just started talking shit to her and being like, you shouldn't even work for this company. This company's fucking awful. And the lady just looked up, and she's like, I don't need to help you. And I said, oh, no. I said, ignore my mom. I said, she just likes to do that. I said, please, if you could help us out here, we don't want to, but that's who my mom is. It's just like, oh my God, Mom, are you serious right now? She's doing it. It's out of warranty. And it's just, she never learns. But I guarantee, maybe she does mushrooms, she might be able to change the way her frame of mind works. She might see herself for the first time and what a tornado of a human being she is. And for the first time, it might dawn on her at age 70 why everyone hangs up the phone on her, doesn't call her back, doesn't respond to her calls, doesn't want to be around her, why none of her siblings like her, why none of her children like her, why she's divorced, single, and lonely, why her neighbors don't talk to her. It might finally dawn on her why that is. She might actually see herself. So anyway, as she's in the chat talking about Robert Kennedy, and why does she do that? Because she knows that annoys people in the chat and annoys me. And that's who she is. She just likes to go and just start fights and arguments and do things that provoke people. That's who she is. But maybe if she did mushrooms, she might change. All right, let's go out to 847. What's up, 847?
Zach?
Yeah, how you doing?
Hey, it's Chris from Niles.
Yeah, what's going on?
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Oh, not too much. I don't have too much to say tonight. Just hoping that you come out to New York and, so we can all meet. And I sent you that text about the box score with the Texas Rangers winning with 5 runs and Houston winning with 7, kind of like 57. And when you measure the date from July 1st, 2023 to October, what was that? October 27th, I believe, 2023. It's 119 days, just like it's the 119th World Series.
Right. Okay.
So I figured that's a big clue to possibly having the Rangers face the Braves in a World Series.
Rangers and Braves. Interesting. Again, the Braves manager has the 119 Gematria. You know what was really interesting is the beginning of the season, the Rangers had a series against the Phillies that began 267 days after George W. Bush's birthday. Of course, 267 is the Philadelphia area code, and he used to run the Rangers. I'll have to look more into that. That's a possibility. Interesting.
Yeah, like I said, I don't have really too much to say tonight. I know if you do come out on the road trip to New York, I do have this one wand that I was using on my mom before she passed away. It's a heat frequency wand. I remember when I, long story short, had a sore throat. I used the heat frequency wand on my throat, and it went away instantaneously. I got like a little bit of varicose veins, like on my ankles. Those are diminishing. My left shoulder would crack a lot, and that's like going away. This wand is like truly remarkable. It's made by Price International. It's an Iteric Hair Classic wand. It kind of looks like a baton. So I'd probably bring that out to New York and show it to you and see what you think of it.
Oh, okay.
It would probably help your voice. It would probably help your voice.
Sure.
You know, while you're out there.
Okay.
You know,
I appreciate that.
All, with knowledge.
Okay. All right. Well, if I make it out there, I look forward to that. Thank you.
You got it, Zach. Have a good one. I know you got other callers that want to get on, so I'll let you get to them.
All right. Appreciate it, friend. Thanks for the generosity.
You got it.
Yeah. You have a good night.
Absolutely. Anytime.
All right.
You too.
Yeah. Take care.
Bye.
All right. That's Chris. He's pounding pavement with us in Oklahoma City and New York City. And made a big drive last year. They rented the car. Came out with the other truth seekers, including Frank the Truth Tank. But yeah, for the people in the chat saying, be nice to my mom, I am being nice. You know, if she would listen to what I'm saying, the rest of her life wouldn't be miserable. Because you guys don't know my mom, but my mom's miserable every day. Every day of her life is misery. And the phrase misery loves company, that phrase applies to my mom. My dad, you know, lately he hasn't been picking up my mom's calls. And last year my mom was like, Dad didn't pick up on his birthday. I was calling him all day. Well, I didn't tell her, but the reason he didn't pick up is because I was having a conversation with him. He's like, you know, whenever your mom calls me, she just puts my whole day off. She just makes it feel like my day's wrecked. I said, well, that's why you guys are divorced now. That's why you're not still with her. I said, that's what she does to everyone. He's like, yeah, maybe I should stop answering her calls. Sometimes he still answers her calls, but my mom, she's just like, her energy is so bad. It's just so negative. It's so I mean, she doesn't even have a conversation. She doesn't ask you how you are. Whenever it says mom and I pick up the phone, she doesn't say hi, hello, how are you? None of that. She just instantly starts nagging about everything wrong in her life. If she needs me to do something for her, she'll ask for help, but she'll never say thank you. In fact, after I help her and do a perfect job, she'll complain about how the job wasn't good enough, and then she'll make you feel bad about not helping her good enough. She's just a wretched human being. And, you know, I felt this way about my mom since I was a child, you know. I used to wonder some nights if, like, she might drive off the road and never come back again, and maybe life might be better. And, again, I mean, it's sad to say that about your own mother, but it's true. I mean, life would be better for the people on Earth if my mom wasn't breathing. And I mean, it feels bad to say because it's my mom, but you guys don't understand. My mom goes through the world ruining everyone's day every single day. And she's just crazy, too. You know, like, Sweet Lady doesn't want to be around my mom anymore because the last time we went to my mom's house, you know, Sweet Lady made a purchase, and my mom thought she spent too much on something. And the reason my mom knew that is because while Sweet Lady and I were out on a walk, my mom went into my room where Sweet Lady's purse was and started digging through her purse just to see what was in there and found a receipt and said, oh my God, I can't believe you spent that much on that. It's like, well, she can spend her money on however she wants to spend her money. But who goes through somebody's purse and digs through their purse? I remember when I was a child, my mom cleans people's houses. Hey, be careful who you have to clean your house. My mom does a great job cleaning houses, but she's the kind of person who'll go through people's drawers and look for things just to know things and get into drama. Sometimes she'd come home when I was a child and she'd be like, oh, you wouldn't believe what I found in their drawer and what they're going through. And I'd think as a kid, I'd be like, should my mom be going through people's drawers? You know? So, yeah, again, the reason I call out my mom in the chat is for the same reason I call out everything else that's wrong in the world. And if I didn't have my mother, I might not be so focused on what's wrong with the world. So that's the good thing about having my mom for my mom. She made me realize that the world was a really messed up place. A couple years ago, her sister died, and she called me up and she goes, my mom, there's 9 siblings in her family, but her other sibling, who she once got in a fist fight with on Christmas, and then we were no longer allowed to the family get together on Christmas because of that. But her sister called her up and said, hey, you got to come to your sister's funeral. It's your sister. And then my mom said, no, I'm not going. So then my mom called me up and she goes, can you believe Patty just called me and told me I should go to Sherry's funeral? Now she said, I'm a bitch because I'm not going. And I said, well, Mom, not going to your sister's funeral, that's pretty bad. Are you surprised your siblings are looking down on that? That's who this person is, you guys. So, and anyway, yeah, I'm sure a lot of my personality flaws do come from having the mother I have. Here's a question I'll ask you guys. How many times in your life has a stranger stopped and said to you as a child, I'm sorry that you have to have this person as your mother? I had at least 5 strangers say something exactly like that in my life about my mom, because that's who my mom is. So, anyway, all that came up because she's in the chat talking about Robert Kennedy and then magic mushrooms. I'm reminded of when she came up to my house just to steal the jar of mushrooms, which is something now she denies that she did, which is just completely laughable. And anyway. Yeah, no, here, I'll tell you what else is funny about when my mom went through Sweet Lady's purse and found the receipt for what she bought. May had made my mom dinner, made her this really nice dinner and served her the dinner. And we didn't realize she'd gone through the purse or anything yet. But then we sit down to eat. We're eating, right? And then my mom's like, so, how come you spent all this money on this? And she was like, how do you know that? She's like, oh, well, I went into your room because you guys needed some towels for when you would shower, and I just saw the receipt there. And May goes, that receipt was in my wallet, inside my purse. And my mom's like, oh, well, I saw it when I put the towels in your room. That's who this person is, you guys. And that's why when she calls me and she tells me that this company did a bad job or this company said that, and now they're suing you because they're saying they didn't say that, it's hard for me to even believe, even though you're my own mother, it's hard for me to believe that what you're saying is true because I know who you are. You're the kind of person who will dig through somebody's wallet for God knows what reason and then say you just saw it because you had to put towels in the room. That's who you are. So... Anyway, I just get tired of when I look out at the chat and people are like, oh, Zach, be nice to your mom. No, I'm not going to be nice to my mom, you guys. I'm going to call out my mom for exactly who she is. Okay? And again, it's just a reminder. It's a reminder about all the stuff that we're taught when we grow up in this thing. Respect your elders. In some cases, yeah, but not necessarily. Your elders might be piece of shit human beings who don't deserve respect. So you don't necessarily need to just respect your elders. Just respect your elders. Just believe in this bullshit. Just believe in this bullshit. We're taught all these things from a young age that are just also bullshit. The real way is go through life, use your critical thinking skills, respect what deserves respect. Respect is earned, You don't have to respect somebody just because they're older than you. You can respect somebody who's a lot younger than you because they earn the respect. A lot of older people think they don't need to respect younger people. How many people remember that as a younger person? You were in the right. You were younger, but you couldn't get any respect. You couldn't get anyone to listen to you because they just treated you like you were younger. Oh, what do you know? You're younger. I was dealing with that from a young age because I was living in this world full of morons, and I saw it from a young age. I saw a lot of the adults, even though I was a kid, I was like, these people are dumb. These people don't know anything. So... Anyway, Yeah, I'm going to rant about that because you guys, honestly, also part of the reason I'm ranting about this is I might never talk to my mom again in my life. You know, I've said that to myself 1,000 times as I've been growing up, but I really just have no interest in talking to her again because it just never changes. It's just so annoying. The last time I talked to her, I was spending all day helping her do something really simple. Again, no thank you, just nothing but complaining. And then calls up later just ranting about something else. It's just like, this person is just such an energy drain. I mean, just, you know. They say the good die young. I worry my mom's going to live to be 200. So, anyway. Also, you guys, we don't have any other callers on the line. So that's also why I didn't go out to any other calls. We don't have any other callers on the line, so I'm just going to finish the show ranting about my mom because she's just driving me nuts. Well, for the person who said I should have my mom whacked, I would never have my mom whacked. But anyway, that also got you blocked on the channel because you're a loser. So anyway, but I will call out my mom in hopes that she does change her way because she is 70 years old and she probably will live for some other period of time. And it would suck to see her be 90 in the last 20 years of her life were just like the first 70. And here, I'll tell you something else about my mom. There's a new movie. Hey, you know what's funny is last Friday, right, I was talking about Shiv from Succession, right? Shiv from Succession, how Shiv means dagger and she stabs her family in the back and they lose the family business because of her. New movie came out on Netflix. We're at the end of the TFR show. I'll continue it on after hours. But a new show came out on Netflix starring her, the same actress who plays Shiv on Succession. It's called Run, Rabbit, Run. And the movie starts with a white rabbit like Alice in Wonderland. And to ruin the movie for you, if you don't want to watch the movie anyway, just low vibration crap. But I don't. Netflix said it was #1 last Friday night. I don't believe it. I don't even know who'd want to watch that movie unless everybody in this nation has mommy issues. But anyway, what the movie is about is a mother, a single mother, who's this miserable, wretched human being whose child hates them. Rightfully so. And what you find out at the end of the movie is the mother, when she was a child, she killed her younger sister. She pushed her off a cliff and killed her, and she went out into the ocean, and she was never found again. She was just missing all of her life. But the mother, she lived with this lie her whole life because she knew what happened to her sister. She killed her and didn't tell anybody. But the funny thing about the movie is her sister was named Alice, and her sister is reincarnated in her daughter who despises her. And the daughter feels more connected to the grandmother, of course, who would have been her actual mother. And I just, as I watched that movie, I was like, how can this movie be #1 on Netflix? Sweet lady wanted to watch it last Friday night, which just weirded me out because I was like, okay, it's about mother issues. My mom's driving me absolutely nuts this week. It's Shiv, and I talked about her this morning in the live stream. Like, there's no way that movie became more popular than Extraction 2. There's just no way. But, anyway, that's how they got people to watch it. But yeah, that movie, it's just... Here's the parallel it also made me think of with my mom. So my mom's siblings say that when she was a child, she was smoking a cigarette in the barn and caught the barn on fire and burned down the barn. So the family barn was burned down when she was a child. And my mom blames it on her sister, who's now dead, Sherry. Sherry was the second oldest, my mom's the third oldest of 9. So they're up at the front of the pack. And those two always had the biggest rivalry. But the siblings say my mom did it. And my mom has always denied it and said it was her sister who was older than her. And, honestly, I think my mom probably burned down the barn. And I think her burning down the barn as a child and lying about that and how traumatic that was and how big of a deal that was, I think what it did is it set in stone a behavior pattern of, like, being super dishonest about things, being guilty about things, but then it just became a recurring pattern in her life. So, because again, she's dishonest in so many ways. It's just like looking through somebody's wallet and saying you just saw it because you had to put the towels in the room. It's like, well, we didn't ask you to put towels in our room anyway. And my mom just always snoops through people's stuff. She did that when I was a kid too. When I was a teenager in high school, I was a perfectly behaved teenager. You know, like I was a role model child. I did well in school. I did well in everything. I didn't cause any problems. And my mom, she always acted like I was a criminal. And she was always like going through all my stuff, like thinking she was going to find something. There must be something you're up to that's in here. And it just drove me nuts all the time. I was just like, some nights I'd just be like, can you stop digging through my closet right now? There's nothing in there. Then she'd get all, it's just, it's like, what is wrong with this person? And now I realize, you know, it's like, well, that's probably because that's who she was her whole life. Dishonest, doing things she shouldn't do, you know, getting pregnant at a young age, smoking cigarettes in the barn, burning it down. Well, luckily I didn't grow up to be you. So anyway. I guarantee my mom logged out. She can't stand it. So anyway, what's up, DK?
Keep going on that because I'm going to talk about that.
No, I'm all done. What's up?
So this is very true about what you're saying, how, like, you know, when people do stuff as a child, that's very wrong, and then they never come clean about it. What you just create there is an entity attachment.
Yeah, no, because my mom is like a permanent child. Like her emotional maturity is like around age 12, and I think it all goes back to the moment of burning down the barn. So
very, very, very well could be, and this is something that, you know, I've gone through with multiple people. So once you open that doorway, now these entities that have attached themselves through that hole in your aura that you created by doing that, now they, you know, unless you can, you know, like you said, either do some psychedelic or some type of jungle medicine that can heal you, you most likely will be a victim of that entity, you know, basically giving you the proclivity and, you know, enticing you to keep acting that same way. And, you know, I've told your mom plenty of times already, stop sending me this shit with these...
Do you see, the first thing she did when she came in the chat is posting about Robert Kennedy. She knows she's doing that. That's who she is. She likes to irritate people. That's what she does every day. When she finds out what irritates you, that's what she'll do all the time.
And before you even said any of this, I had told her probably a month ago or something, I'm all, this thing that you do, that you have, it's a spiritual illness, because... The thing is, you know, I've already exposed these people who you now think are, you know, like the opposition to the cabal. I've exposed them 10 years ago before you even woke up to any of this stuff. So don't send this stuff to me at all anymore. That should be enough. But once you already are, it's like, I'm infinitely smarter than you. So you have to have some type of respect for that. Just like when you're playing on a basketball court or somewhere and somebody's just so much better than you that they could just tool you, even if you're better than them athletically. They're just that much better than you skill-wise. You know, that demands respect, and people give them respect. If some guy's got a handle and he's quick, you're not going to come right on him. He's going to make you look like a fool. He's going to run full speed one way and then stop, and you're going to try to backpedal, and you'll probably trip and fall, you know, and then everybody's going to go, bah, you know. That's the type of respect that she doesn't have. And, you know, the reason for that is again, it's a spiritual illness, because a normal soul that doesn't have all these entity attachments, it gets embarrassed, and that's the easiest way to wake somebody up that I found over the years, is just embarrass them really badly. And usually that has to be in public, because when you're soul dead and, you know, your ego's in charge, when you're just by yourself talking to somebody, you can't. But when they embarrass you and you know that everybody else is looking at you like, yeah, you're the fool, that person just absolutely just dissected you with words and just laid you out on the table for everybody to see. And that's not ever going to go back. Like, once now they saw that of you, that shit ain't going back. And people normally a normal person would get embarrassed about that, and they would be like, oh shit, man, I don't want to feel like that ever again. There's no fucking way I'm putting myself in that situation. So either I got to not ever do that, or I got to fix myself, one or the other, you know? And that's what these that's what these jungle medicines like mushroom and ibogaine and DMT and stuff can do for you is get these and separate that energy attachment for a second and let you see, oh, okay, this is, this is a big greater swimming pool that we're all in. So in that effect, we're all one. We're not all one, obviously, because look at the way how big of a difference in thinking there is between people and behavior. So we're definitely not all one. We're all in one big soup, energetic soup. That's definitely obviously true because you can see the way these people affect each other, from different aspects of, behaviors and what they do. And, like people that are really, like nosy like that or looking through other people's stuff, that my dad is that way. And just like, my dad is probably a little bit more spiritually ill than your mom, but, I had the opposite effect. Like, my mom was the one that was way more awake and just, just a normal person and where we get most of our traits from. And my dad is the one that we've always tried not to be like. So I forgot who it was that, was sending him, maybe Kirk Nugent, who said, when you incarnate into this world, you want to choose one parent that's totally fucked up or blinded by religion or something like that. That way you have something to see, a model not to be like, it's almost better than someone to emulate. Because you want to see you want to learn from the errors of somebody that you see right next to you constantly, and that's probably why your mom was religious and some of the other behaviors. You're the complete contrast of that. And the same thing with like me and my brother. We're the complete contrast of my dad. I told my dad, when I was very young, I'm like, if you were a real human being, you're mortified by this, but I don't want to be anything like you ever. I'm going to try to be completely the opposite of you. If you have your son, usually your sons or whatever, they love to, oh, my dad's the best at this. My dad, is the best at that or whatever. That's how little kids are. But I, as a little kid, told them, like, I don't, I'm trying to be the opposite of you. I don't want to be anything like you. And normally, if he was normal, the reaction he would have been mortified, like, oh shit, what the fuck? Like my own kids, with the best grades. And we weren't like some fuck up kids or anything. We had like the best grades in the fucking class. Best at all the sports, best in all the scholastics. We're on a magnet school. We're all like AP classes, getting straight A's. Like, what I'm saying? If something's going awry there, it's on you completely. Because in every other aspect of life, your kids are shining like brighter than the sun in the sky. You're the fuck up. And if you can't see that, that means you're so far up your own ass, meaning these entity attachments are running your consciousness, that you don't see how you appear to other people. You don't have any tact. You don't know how to behave. You just, and I always tell my dad, I'm like, and this all stems from the way your mother was raised, whether her mother or father's, whatever, the situation in general fucked them up. But my dad was fucked up by his mom. She was just a really low IQ, just spiritually ill lady, and she fucked her kids up, every single one of them. There's 7 brothers and sisters. None of them know, except for a few of us in the family. 3 of them are half brothers and sisters, because my grandpa could not stand my grandma on my dad's side. And, so they don't even look, and they were totally insane. They don't even look like the rest of the brothers and sisters, and like their kids who are my first cousins, they don't know. They don't even know. Like, you're fucking like a half cousin. You don't even know who your fucking grandpa is. You don't even know. They're just like, they're totally oblivious. They don't know where all their behaviors come from and all their proclivities and why they act the way they do. They have absolutely no idea. And then, to get to this guy when he was talking about how you're seeing the vibration, yes, that's everything is literally that. They lie to us about atoms and protons and electrons. None of that's true. Electrons are actually just a toroidal field, which if you measure it from the side is a vibration because you're measuring every time it's passing, just like any wheel, like one of those wheels where you spin for a prize, it always comes back around to the same stuff. It just where is it going to stop? That'll lead you to that Wheel of Fortune thing. You might as well put up the Wheel of Fortune tarot card if you can. So when we get these like jungle medicines in our system, they start raising the vibration of our consciousness, which slowly starts matching the vibration of the etheric field around us, this energetic soup that we're living in. So that's why you start seeing more things. You're still seeing such a tiny fragment of what's really out there. Like we see less than 1% with our eyes. And then when we open up, when we open up the doorway a little bit with like mushrooms or DMT or something, you may be seeing 10% or 15%. There's still another 85% to go. So this is why your pineal gland is shut down. You would need, and you're only using 10% of your brain. If you could see all that other stuff, trust me, that other 90% of your brain that you're not using, you would need, and it would come into play. Because, the tiny fragment that you're working with now, you'd be an absolute retard at that level with that. So that's why we're only using 10% of our brain, because that's all that's needed, and then the rest of the population that's asleep, they're using, less than half of that. So, that's why when you talk to them, there's people that are even way worse than your mom. You're like, are these people even the same species? Is it possible that the brain that they have in their head is constructed the same way as mine? Because it just doesn't make any sense. I have like a Ferrari and they have like some, broken farm tractor in their head. You know what I mean? That it just makes no sense how we could be of the same, we're even of the same species. My animals are smarter than most human beings. I mean, they can't talk, but pretty close, So this is literally what we're dealing with. These people have been locked in a immature, damaged child-like mentality. It's not a mature child. They're not, I always tell people, they're like, well, how come you look the way you do and whatever? I'm like, because I never lost that inner child. I'm still a kid. I mean, I'm an adult and I act like an adult on the outside, but we don't really ever age. Your soul's not 30 years old or 33 years old like Sweet Lady or anything like that. It's infinite. So the way it's looked at is in a different way. Right now, you're just having this little experience here, and you got locked into an infantile consciousness. So you're not learning anything. You're not progressing. You're going to come back and have to do this all over again with more obstacles, because the obstacles are there to wake you up, to tell you, hey, the reason you're running into these obstacles is just like when you're doing like Lara Croft Tomb Raider, you're looking through every little thing, because you're supposed to be looking for, you're literally looking for yourself. You're not looking for anything. You're just looking to find your original self, which came from God, which already is totally omniscient, knows everything, been everywhere, because it's just again, it's an energetic field we're all. So if you tune your radio receiver and you have all the stations, you don't have to actually go experience something physically in the pain of it. You could tap into whatever some other soul learned on it through its experience, through the morphogenic field, if you're tapped in. Or since we're like, downtrodden right now in our consciousness, we can talk to other people and learn from them, by having normal conversations like we're having now. Or, you talk to somebody smarter than you and they explain to you, hey, I know some of these people on the media, they sound like they're telling you good stuff, like Tucker Carlson or whatever, but in reality, they're just the next level down from the politicians. They're the controlled opposition. The politicians lie all the time. These guys are lying half of the time, and then there's the next level down from that with the controlled opposition that's only lying like 5%. They're giving you 95% truth, stolen from people like me and you, and basically presented almost verbatim and word for word the way we present it in order to come off good. And then they, sell you the poison pill, the 5% or 10%, which most of the time is just giving them support, which is just like putting, all these churches in the poor communities, which are siphoning whatever little discretionary income those people may have to goes to nothing. It's the same thing with the support and, whether it's just moral support or sharing their work or even financial for these controlled opposition shills, that just means you're going nowhere and you're helping the enemy, It doesn't matter what they say. It doesn't matter. They're not doing anything. You don't get it. Anybody could tell you 2-3 things that are true to, try to get you, just like, a guy that's going to, rent a nice car or whatever to go take a girl out on the date and everything's going to be perfect, in the beginning. And then once you start really peeling away the layers, you're like, hold on a second here. This is not exactly what it's all been cracked up to be. You got that Wheel of Fortune tarot card up?
I can put it up.
What I'm thinking. Last week you asked me about the Ryans and the Ryan Seacrest and the Wheel of Fortune. So I was like, you know what? We're gonna have to put up the Wheel of Fortune.
Taro's another 70 forward. Yeah. Let me get it up here.
What was the date of Ryan Seacrest getting that?
I got to go back and double check.
That's what I'm thinking. Is it the same number as the tarot card is and as the Wheel of Fortune card is in the deck? You know, like what's the coinky dink on that one? What else was I gonna say? Wheel of Fortune. Oh yeah, let me continue talking about the what the guy was talking about, the elves and all that stuff. That's only if you smoke the DMT from the bufo toad, which is called 5-MeO DMT. You'll see the control panel and the elves that are controlling the control panel and all that stuff. If you're able to take 3 big hits of that stuff's just, it's like one of those really like creeper expanding hits. When you take a hit of that, it just expands in your lungs and it's really nasty and it's really hard to take like 3 hits of it. Usually after the first or second one, you're already going out of like, not necessarily consciousness, but you're kind of losing your physical mobility and such. So most people never get to see the elves and stuff. So that part about what Joe Rogan is saying is true. It's where he goes after that is probably the bullshit. But if you take actual ayahuasca DMT, you're not going to see any of that. And there is an actual, female spirit that's talking to you. And, they say it's Mother Ayahuasca who's guiding you through your ego problems and all that. And same kind of thing goes with like the ibogaine. That's what most people that have like really hardcore addictions, they do the ibogaine to basically I haven't done ibogaine, but I've spoken extensively to people who have gone through like hell and back, and they're like, literally what they feel happened is my soul got pulled out of my body and then forced to look at myself and all my own shit. And there's no way you can deny it. It's like you're being shown almost like a video of your life and your behaviors and all that. But you, from watching that video, know what everybody's thinking at the time. You know what all of the people that have experienced what you said in your company, you know the way if it comes from their side, you know the way they feel, the way you feel, and you get to see the whole thing like a learning experience. And I've talked to people who are like, total cocaine addicts for functioning rich, like, running a couple businesses, got a family at home, kids, but they're just cocaine addicts and they want to give it up because they got a great life, but they got this entity attachment that they're, attached to, where just initially the cocaine maybe not be so bad, but once it becomes like a crutch, then, there's an entity that's attached to that, and it's getting you to be in a certain vibration while you take that. And that's what, that's the energy harvest that it's got on you. And you're just not realizing that in your like external life. What else? What I wanted to say about Rambo, I mean, this is just my opinion. People may not like it. It may not be a popular opinion, but although I do think, the stuff he said was interesting and, but as far as like fighting the cabal and lighting a fire under people's asses and, kind of like starting a revolution, I think it's, all the stuff he said was trivial probably at best. It's not, your stuff gets deleted and stuff because they know, you're inspiring people to lighting a fire under their ass. And like, man, I want to go pound pavement. I see this guy out here I feel like I'm just doing nothing. I want to get out there. Whereas, delivering just kind of like information where, oh, look at how this looks like it matches with this. And, this could possibly be a ritual and all that. Like, that's all fine and dandy and all that. And it's good information and interesting, but nobody's getting off their couch for that. That's so right when you said the other day or whenever it was that Rambo got his channel deleted, I was thinking, yeah, that sounds like he deleted it himself. He's not saying anything that's going to even raise a hair for them. Like there's he's not going to spark a rebellion with any of this information. And then you said yourself, somebody said that he took it down himself. So I do hope he comes back as well. But, I don't, that stuff, my intuition is telling me that he took that down and, all this stuff that he's being attacked and all that, that's just like David Wilcock and these guys saying how they're being attacked by the cabal and all this stuff when all their shit is just being totally pushed forward, not censored at all. So that's kind of the feeling I got from that. All these people that constantly say they're being like attacked or whatever that are, you know, not really putting anything forward that's going to help humanity on a whole. My intuition tells me that's not what's going on. And I've been known to be right, like, all the fucking time. So I'm just going to go with that trend and the pattern recognition that I've, you know, kind of noticed, that when I have an intuition about something and whatever, that it just ends up being right, whether it's a week later, a month later, a year later, or whatever. And, you know, basically then people realize, and then there's, oh, well, how did you know that? Oh, I guess my mind is just operating on another frequency than yours, and just things come faster. I'm running around the track a little faster. I finished the 4 laps in 4.5, 5 minutes. You're still running you're still running on the track. So you don't know what's at the end. You haven't figured it out yet. And whether that's because we have some type of spiritual immune system that, you know, the way we came into this world, or through our own, you know, dark night of the soul, like the guy was talking about, or whatever, however it is that we got to this place where we're at in our psychology is, you know, that people say it's like otherworldly, like, you know, that also may be true. You know, that also may be true. We may not all be exactly from the same place and the same vibration in the greater aspect of things. You know, we're all in the same universe, but we may be from, you know, different aspects of that. You could look at your body as a whole universe inside, and there could be different, you know, different parts of that, like you're, you know, down in your you know, your red chakra region, where you've got your like base desires and stuff, as opposed to like up in your, you know, your green heart chakra space, where things are a lot, you know, you're thinking bigger, you're thinking longer, you're thinking more all encompassing, you know, you're thinking all more as like, we're all one, how are we going to help this situation in general. So yeah, I think I hope he does come back, but I think that's where we're at on that. And, you know, that'll lead right into the support, you know, going down 50%, which I'm still standing with my original hypothesis on that, you know, half or more of this support is coming from the folks who stole from you and robbed your house and ruined your business, in order that they may even out their karma with you on that. And, you know, when you go out and pound pavement, then you see who the actual support really is, you know, because it just doesn't make any sense. Your work gets better and it's the support goes down. It makes no sense logically, mathematically, or any which way you want to cut it. It doesn't make any sense. So I'm going to have to still stick with my original hypothesis on that. And whether your support is going to go down more or faster if you go pound payment, I don't really know, but I think that's kind of what's going on. As long as they're keeping you at home and, you know, delivering, everything's just kind of on a, you know, not really super hands-on level, then, you know, it's going to remain where it's at. But as soon as you go more and more hands-on, like they just keep pulling away a little bit of your food supply, you know what I mean? Or your the support. So I think that's kind of where we're at on that. What else did I want to talk about? I didn't write any of this stuff down. I've been driving the whole time, so I'm going all off of memory. If I would have taken a bong here right before I got in the car, I would have remembered any of that. So at least I remember that much. What else? I can't think of anything right now. Anything you want to say about anything I just said?
No, I just interesting as always, and your theory about what's going on. To me, I don't. I mean, your theory, I don't want to think that's right, but a part of me is like, God, it's like feels like the only thing that makes sense right now. But
that's where I'm at. I don't want it to be right either. Absolutely, do not want it to be right. But I mean, it's just like, you know, everything keeps reinforcing that. It makes no sense. Like you said, how is it that my work's getting better and I'm putting myself out there more, and on the other side it's like getting down? It's like you're hitting your gas pedal and the car's going slower.
Right.
It's
way slower. It's like the car broke.
You're looking around to figure, what, would I have a flat tire? I mean, why is the car not accelerating? I'm hitting the gas. There's a full tank of gas. You're looking at your gauge. Everything seems all right, you know? Am I going straight up a hill at 30% grade? What is going on? Why am I not moving faster? So, yeah. that's where I'm gonna have to stick. I'm gonna have to stick with that. I hope it's not true too. But
So what do you think? You think I should go out to the All-Star game in Seattle next week?
fuck yeah.
Yeah, I think I should.
I mean, not if it's gonna be a burden, no. But if it's
No, I think I'm gonna do it. It's a 4-hour. I live further away from Seattle now, but it's still very doable. So I think I'm gonna have to do it.
Yeah, totally. Because this is like what you're telling other people not to do. If you start having problems or roadblocks, don't stop. Just keep going. So you may even have to shift your eggs from the basket that they're in into something else as well. Not that to stop doing the work that you're doing, but as far as like financials and stuff, you may have to, just like you did already. You've already shifted before from different financial means to where you're at now. So you may have to do that again. I know you get like comfortable after a while, like you're doing, and what you're doing is there's no flaw in what you're doing. Everything's fine. But they probably are trying to, kind of, you started on a 5-lane highway, now you're down to like a 1-laner, and there's very few exits. So it's like they're kind of just squeezing you to see how long you're gonna be able to do what you're doing. But maybe, I don't know, if there was some type of diversification where you weren't counting on the support as much. I'm not saying I have any specific ideas for you on how or where or what, you should go about doing that, but it's just a thought.
Yeah, I'll have to figure out something. So.
Yeah. But yeah, I can't think of anything else, and I think Jeff is still he's somewhere right now. I don't know where he's at. He's somewhere out of town.
He's on the way to Australia.
Oh, that's what it is. Okay, yeah. Oh yeah, there's another thing I want to talk about. If you can I go on for another few minutes, or you want to go?
Go ahead.
So I've just been busy lately, so I haven't talked to Jeff that much, just texting back and forth a little bit. He was in Boston. He was just kind of around doing stuff, preparing for the tour and for the Australia tour. But anyway, I just wanted to make a little like comments on yesterday's festivities and stuff. So I was out at a place that I've been many times already, Newport Beach. It goes off for 4th of July. Like it's a expensive community. All the houses there are multiple millions, not just the ones right up on the water, but even the ones a few blocks inland, and all of these are all $3-4 million homes. So everybody's well to do. Everybody's got decent cars parked in there's a lot of young kids there renting and stuff like that, but it's mostly, I would say, predominantly like a white surfer type community, more probably something like Santa Barbara or something like that, or Chico, but just way more people, and things are way more expensive. So as I was just like kind of cruising around, a lot of people talk to me just because of the way I look and the way I am. And I kind of focused a lot on talking to a lot of the like homeowners and people who are living like in a lot of these expensive homes, like right on the Strand. They'll see me like on my bike, and I'll stop or talk to them for a second about stuff, and they'll just be listening, and they'll be like, Orange County was very much like Trump and against all the lockdowns, and they were very, what you would call like like quote unquote patriots. There was a few big rallies down there where all kinds of people came out, and then they sent a bunch of the controlled opposition out there too with us to try to get the eye on them rather than on the people who were really saying what's going on. But a lot of these people were like, I was telling them about how all these guys, look at all these guys are all Jesuits, every single one on both sides. It's just two wings of the same bird. And, you think you're going to bring in an independent party or a third party. Like, birds don't have 3 wings, they only have 2, and they don't have 1 either. A bird can't fly with 1 wing. It needs 2. That's why there's not a single party system, because people would see that wouldn't fly, and they were all on board completely. Like, most of them, they're like, everything you're saying, I've never heard it said that way. It's so interesting. And like, it seems like pretty obvious that's what's going on. I mean, thinking about what you're saying, like everything's leading me to believe exactly what you're saying is true, and telling them how like the whole earth is just one big like holding company with different, little subsidiary corporations we call countries, and they're just playing us. They're printing all the money in every country. So they're just playing us. Doesn't matter if, we got dollars here and they got yen in China. They still got a Federal Reserve Bank. Same thing with Canada and Mexico with the pesos, and Germany. Well, whatever, some of these countries that got the euro now, but every country has a Federal Reserve Bank owned by the same people. So it doesn't matter what the pictures on their money are. It's still being printed by the same people. So then, we start looking into who these people are. Then I start getting into, like how they're all fake Jews and all this stuff. And then you see the people's eyes most of them are probably Jewish. That's why I didn't ask that on purpose. And, you could see that they, living on the Strand and stuff like that, they got money, or living in the area anyway. They got money, and it's all these areas have been fully infiltrated by these, Jewish families. Most of them have no idea what's really going on. They don't understand, that there's a greater cabal that are all this synagogue of Satan, fake Jews. They don't know any of that shit. They just know they're Jewish, and if they hear something that's like, against, Jewish people, they're just like right away. They're like, whoa, hold on a second. And I made a real point about getting these people on my side. First talking to them for like 5 minutes, they're basically giving me high fives and this, and then when I get to the Jewish thing, then they're like, oh shit, like, and then I tell them, but it's not all Jews. Most Jews don't even know. There's just a cabal of them on top of the rest of them that use the rest of them on top of everything, and then they're just like, I just wanted to say, like, even going out where everybody's like drinking and lighting up fireworks and going, Happy 4th, dude, and all this, doing stuff like that, really, like, kind of, literally, like, I could see a fire lighting inside people's heads, in one way or another, whether there was shock or whether it was like, this guy speaking my language or whatever, so you can pound pavement and do work anywhere, even in the worst, situations where everybody's celebrating their freedom, dummies celebrating their freedom. You can even do it there where you think you're going to get the most opposition. So I was telling people, Happy Communist Day and stuff like that, and they're like, well, what do you mean, and then give them a few explanations like, this is Veterans Day in my country, and if you look all around the world, this same day is something like in every country, basically. Why? How you don't think that's like, is that too much of a coincidence, you think? Like, what the, who's running the show? Why is it Veterans Day in my country, and here it's, a day where, guys who are veterans, fought and died to create this country, allegedly. Does that seem like a little too much of a coinkydink? And then the 3 presidents dying and all the other stuff, all the other 7 4s I like laid out for them real quick. And it got a really good responses, shocking people, and then, leaving them with that, with the Jewish thing, and say, okay, well, have a nice rest of your day. Don't blow your hand off, don't shoot your eye out, and we'll see you tomorrow, Wednesday, another regular day, right? And then they're just like, yeah, it was great talking to you. And they're, they just don't even know what to say. They're like, what? This guy just dropped a ball of shit on us. Now I got to think about it. I can't get this out of my head now. That's kind of the notion I was getting from these people, which is good. So that's my story for the 4th of July.
Good ones, as always, DK. Appreciate it.
Yeah, and I hope to see you soon in like a month and a half or so. So what happens on Kobe Day? By the way, what do they do? Do they have some type of thing for Kobe Day, or you were just thinking of coming out on that date?
Well, I just know the city recognizes it now. It's officially a thing. Kobe Bryant Day, August 24th.
So is there going to be a ceremony at Crypto for that, or?
They must do something, I mean, if the city declares Kobe Bryant Day, there must be some kind of festivity they do, and I imagine it's by the Staples Center.
Yeah, okay, because I don't know when you said Kobe Day. I mean, I heard that before, and then you said coming down for Kobe Day. And the first thing I thought about when you said it months and months ago, I was like, what is it, like a parade? Like, what do they do for Kobe Day? So I don't even know. I'll have to go look it up.
Kobe Bryant Day. Here, let's pull up the old Wikipedia since it's such a reliable source. Let's see what they say. Celebrated August 24th in Los Angeles and Orange County, commemorating the life of basketball player Kobe Bryant. And remember, they declared this before he even died. The day was chosen as the holiday because of Bryant's numbers 8 and 24, as we know. And it's also one day after his birthday. On July 27th, 2021, California Congresswoman Michelle Still introduced a resolution that would recognize the day nationally. So that's hasn't been approved, but that was brought up. I should actually go back and look into that. Yeah, so they started that after his retirement in 2016.
But they've never had, like, I mean, he's been dead now, what, 3 years? Is 3 years? How many years been dead?
Yeah, 2020.
Oh, yeah, 3 years. So, I mean, they haven't had, like, other than the funeral, they haven't had, like, a Kobe Bryant Day parade or anything like that at any of those time for the last 2 years, I guess it would be. 21, 22, yeah. Or no, 20, they declared it in 20, when did he die again?
January 26, 2020.
Yeah, so that would have been in 20, they didn't have Kobe Day for 2020 though, right? Or did they?
No, it started in 2016.
Oh, shit, what?
Yeah.
That's freaking weird.
It was going on before he died.
What number was that Wheel of Fortune card?
10.
And then what date was the thing on the 10, that makes sense too. What was the Ryan Seacrest date on that wheel of him getting the Wheel of Fortune?
Let me go back and see. I forget.
Was he getting $10 million a year for it or something?
Yeah, that's a good question. I'm not sure about that. June 27th was the day.
June 27th. What's that? That's 627. It's 15. I don't know. That doesn't. I'm not seeing any patterns there.
Yeah, I'll have to look more. I bet there is something about that though, because it was all 74 and tarot equals 74, like Wheel of Fortune. I think you're onto something there. I'll look more into that angle and read more about the Wheel of Fortune card. So
I may be onto something, but we need your expertise to find out what that something is actually, because that's where I'm.
Rambo knows a lot about tarot cards.
Yeah, he could get in on that. Why not?
So yeah.
Oh, can you please text me the name of those 2 strains of mushrooms?
The only strains I brought up Cubensis because everybody knows what those are, but the one that grows up here is Cyanescence, which I think is the best.
Cyanescence, that would be the strongest one?
I haven't done every strain of mushroom there is, but if you read about Cyanescence, they are very highly reviewed. Their nickname is Genius Mushrooms.
And what was name the other one again? Cyanescence, and what was the other one?
Cubensis are the ones that everyone grows, like out of, in the dark, out of your rice cakes. Cubensis are everywhere.
Okay, I gotta ask. I'm out in front of one of my buddy's house right now who has a bunch of shrooms, but I'm here to pick up a QP of OG. But I'm gonna talk to him about.
He probably grows Cubensis. That's like what everybody grows.
Well, they have he has everything. He has just the raw stuff. He's got, the chocolates, the gummies, and like everything. His family's kind of like into that. So, and now they're like starting to make like the ice wax concentrates, which are really expensive. So, but I'm definitely gonna ask because I can eat like 5 grams. And I mean, I'm not saying I'm not tripping balls, but like, I want to know if I'm not eating the strong ones or whatever, because I would like to. I mean, I've only done shrooms like, let's just say, I'm going to say 5 times in my whole entire life, or maybe like 7 times, and it's not like I'm doing it frequently or anything. There'd be like very few and far between. But the times that I have done it, I can eat, and like goes with anything. I'm like, I want the maximum dose plus some extra on the side in case that's not enough, because that's just the way my body is. I guess I burn through everything really fast.
Sure.
So the full cup of ayahuasca, I need the full 3 hits of the 5-MeO. I need like the full thing in order just to get the basic effects that people talk about. So
you probably got one of those 3-foot bongs at your house. So.
I don't even know if I look through my whole house and garage, there's probably 15 bongs. I got one of those old school plastic ones that's like 6 feet.
Sure.
Thing at the bottom where you need the friend to light it. Then I also have one that's like a 5-footer where the actual part where it goes in is kind of like maybe only a foot down or a foot and a half down, like closer to your face. And then the tube runs on the outside and goes in down at the bottom, like where it normally would be. So you don't need a friend to light it for you. But I haven't used those in like quite some time. Maybe you just inspired me to bring those back out. Burn half a bowl and, like 3 tugs of full diaphragm just to load it up, and then you're like, this is a lot of work. You lose your breath just to load it up. And then you take the one hit that last one where you actually take the hit feels like a gravity bong or something because there's so much shit in there. And I usually load up a bunch of ice in that one. So you're trying to suck it all through the crushed ice. And like, it's a whole, I should probably figure out some way to use a vacuum cleaner to load that thing up and then, take the hit. But yeah, I mean, I like to use glass, and like none of this stuff is really huge anymore because it's just a pain in the ass. And, you bump one of those little big ones over and it breaks. You just, $150, $200 down the drain, or I break bowls all the time because I hit it against something or I'll drop the bowl. Then you need to get I have like 10 bowls just on deck waiting because I know they get broken all the time.
Yeah.
Everything, all the floors are hard. There's no carpet anywhere anymore. Nobody has carpet in their house. So every time you drop something now, it's like, it's over,
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's about it. What's the name? The Psy one? Give me that name one more time.
Cyanescence.
Cyanescence, okay. So it's almost like Evanescence, but Cyanescence.
There you go.
Okay. I'm going to definitely ask about that. And when is your season up there that it grows?
It grows, and well, with the weather changing, it's usually around the middle of October. As soon as it frosts, it's done. You got to get it before it frosts. It grows in like a 2-week period. So.
I may have to come up there and visit you.
I don't live on the right side of the state anymore. They grow on the western side of the state. They don't grow on this side. I mean, there probably are places on this side of the state where they grow, but the west side of the state's rich with mushrooms. For people who don't know, Washington and Oregon, Western Washington, Western Oregon, people come from all over the world to pick mushrooms. Psychedelics and edible mushrooms there. Huge mushroom territory.
Yeah, my buddy's got a farm in Oregon, and they use they go pick the mushrooms that are like, that people use for like a superfood, like the lion's mane, turkey tail, chaga, those ones, not the psychedelic ones. So, yeah, maybe you'll have to drop a pin for me, show me exactly where that's at, so I can send it to him and have him go at the time you say, so I can experience what you're talking about.
Well, Oregon actually sells them now in the store, so you could also get them that way.
Really?
Yeah, Oregon has mushroom stores. I think they're getting rid of them, though.
So what time of year would you be able to purchase that in the stores? Same time of year or all year round?
They have it year-round.
Huh.
But it's probably still better to buy it in season, just like anything. So.
Yeah. I mean, but like.
Because the thing is, for people to know, if you take mushrooms, I mean, the thing you do with mushrooms when you pick them is you dry them. And they go from these big wet things to they shrivel up into these little dry things. And the way you can tell they're magic mushrooms is if in the stems there's bluing. The blue's the psilocybin. But the thing is, like, you dry them and they last, but you put them in a jar. If you take them right after they first dry, they're a lot more potent than they are 6 months from then after being in the jar. Then you need to take more of a dosage 6 months later to get the same effect.
That's probably why I'm able to eat so much. You're walking around the field picking and eating probably, right? Or almost, right? You picking them and then soon after.
I've never eaten them wet and juicy. I'll eat them right away after they dry out. But yeah, like if you ate 5 grams of cyanescence the day after, I can eat 5 grams of them after they've been in the jar for 6 months because it's not as potent, but 5 grams the day after, that's a really strong dose. I mean, maybe you can, but...
But I wouldn't even, at that point, I wouldn't even need a phone to call you. I would just be on your phone, like in the movie Lucy.
Yeah.
I wouldn't even need any devices anymore. I'd be tapped into everything.
Exactly.
And yeah, that what you were saying about, the whole ecosystem, everything that's grounded in the earth, everything that's growing, the trees, the grass, they're all communicating through the network underneath of the the fungal, network in the soil.
Right.
So that's how all plants are communicating constantly.
Right. Indeed.
Oh, all righty. Well, I think that's about it.
All right, DK. Appreciate it.
I'll talk to you soon, and thanks again for taking the call.
Always. Have a good night.
You too. Bye-bye.
Take care. Yeah, that reference was pretty funny. Yeah, and Gematria 32, funny enough, he brought up the movie Blow with Johnny Depp, and he said, what you're saying reminds me of the mom in that movie. When I saw the movie Blow, I saw that movie in the theater when it came out, and that's exactly what I thought of when I saw it. I was like, this lady reminds me of my mom. How many people have a mom like this? God. Yeah, if you want to experience what my mom's like, the mom in Blow, it has a lot of parallels to my own mother. 100%. So... And for those of you guys who were here, September 2020, when she called into that one live stream and tried to sabotage me, it was kind of like Blow. But for all of you guys who weren't here for that, that's good. So that was a bad day. That was a bad day, the day my mom tried to call into the live stream and sabotage. All right. We'll leave it there, Truth Seeker. And until next time.